All right, are we live? We are live. All right. Hello, everyone, and welcome to Tabletop Dads. My name is Jordan. I'm going to be DMing the Lost Mines of Phandelver for these fine gentlemen here. These first-time players for Jeff, first-time playing D&D period. Jason is first-time playing a wizard. Sean, first-time playing a cleric. So everyone's got a first. That's annoying. I forgot to mute that. There we go. All right. So without further ado, I am going to toss it over to them so they can introduce themselves. We'll do character introductions a little later on in the game. But Jason, I'll go ahead and start with you.
Hello all, my name's Jason. I'm streaming from Melbourne, Australia, and I'm playing the part of Sintaris the Wizard.
Sintaris the Wizard. And welcome from Australia. I know it's late for you, 3:30 in the morning. So I should add, we're waiting on one more, so he's going to jump in whenever he gets on. His boss actually let him off work just to do this. So big shout out to Alex's boss when he gets on here. Jeff, let's send it over to you.
My name's Jeff Grube from Austin, Texas. First time playing D&D. I'm playing a noble fighter, and I have no idea what my name was, but it sounded cool when I chose it.
Oh, hold on. You gave it to me and I wrote it down. It was cool.
Because I felt like it was.
What was it? Ripped Bearick.
I'm sure it was.
There you go.
Cool.
Ripped Bearick.
Ripped Bearick. Ripped like a bear. Bears beats Battlestar Galactica.
Bears beats Battlestar Galactica. All right, Sean, take us home.
Yeah, I'm Sean Patterson. Playing D&D for a while now. It's first time playing a cleric though, so that'll be fun to go through. Playing the Hill Dwarf cleric Grynar.
Grynar. All right, so we have a cleric, we have a wizard, and we have a fighter. We have a second fighter coming later, hopefully, if he joins in. And then I think we'll go ahead and we'll get rolling. I'm excited. The Lost Mines of Phandelver, anyone who doesn't know, is the 5th edition starter set adventure that comes with the starter set. So we're going to be running through that. We're going to try and get through first episode today, but we'll see how much time we get left with. But I think without further ado, if you guys are ready, we'll jump right in.
Let's do it.
Let's do it. All right.
Let's do it.
So you're in the city of Neverwinter. For whatever reason, you can find yourselves there. You're enjoying a drink. You're there for a festival. You're there for some friends. But a dwarf named Grynar Rockseeker has asked each of you to bring a wagon load of provisions to a settlement of Phandelver that's a couple days travel south of the city. This rough and tumble settlement just coming up. Grynar was very excited. He was more than a little bit secretive about his reasons for the trip, saying only that he and his brother had found something special, something big, and that he'd pay you 10 gold pieces each for taking those provisions to Phandelver and dropping them off to a place called Barthen's Provisions, which is a trading post in town. He then set out ahead of you, saying that he had to take care of business, and he took with him a warrior escort named Sildar Hallwinter. You spent the last few days on the high road south from Neverwinter, and you've just recently veered east along what's called the Tribord Trail. And you've encountered no trouble so far, but the territory can be dangerous, and bandits and outlaws, they have been known to lurk along the trail. So I will pull up a map just so everyone can see what. Hold on. Everyone can kind of figure out where we are. Hold on. Just screen share. All right, so this is the world of the Forgotten Realms. This is where your whole adventure can take place. Everyone can see that, right?
Yeah.
Yep.
Okay, so this is where your whole little adventure here is going to take place. You zoom in a little more here.
That's better.
And zoom in a little more. And zoom in a little more. This is where this is Neverwinter. So this is where you guys are currently located at here. And you're heading south down this high road. And just as you get a little bit south, you're going to head over on the Tribord Trail, which you can see Tribord down there in the eastern side. So you're going to be hooking a trail there going over to that. So that's where you guys are. You've just turned east on the Tribord Trail. You guys have all introduced yourselves. You know, you kind of talked a little bit to each other. But one thing you guys might have talked about is how you came to know Gundren Rockseeker. So if you guys want to go ahead and tell me how you guys came to know your friendly dwarf patron here.
I met Gundren when I was shopping for spell components, some of which were difficult to acquire, but Gundren is one of those people who has a way of finding things that are difficult to acquire. So we formed a business relationship whereby I would help him with etymology of certain exotic creatures that he may come across, and he would procure for me spell components.
Very nice, very nice. He's the Mafia Don of Neverwinter.
He knows how to get stuff.
And Ripped, how about you? How'd you come to know Gundren?
I'm a very clean person, and every time I use my axe, I need to immediately clean it if it gets dirty or if there's blood on it or anything like that. And so Gundren helped me. He helped me find a solution where I can keep this cleaning cloth and liquid on to always keep my axe looking the cleanest I can keep it.
Yes, because clean axe is a sharp axe, which is a deadly axe. I like it.
Yes, and if it's dirty, I don't want to pick it up.
Oh, good, because if you drop it, you're screwed.
Yeah, I don't want to drop the axe. That.
And then the Grynar, how about you? How'd you come to know our fine patron?
Well, I've known him my entire life. We're actually cousins. You humans may not consider us cousins. It's several generations removed, but we are. So, and he was always a little bit of a notorious one in the family. But he knew I had been studying at the temple to be a cleric, and he said he had something going on he needed a little extra help with. So he reached out to me, and I was glad to. My god is the god of the wandering paths. So I'm searching for paths to wander, and this was a great one.
Yes, he has certainly sent you on some wandering paths for sure. All right, so as you guys are going through, you do have a giant cart with you. There's 2 oxen pulling it. Someone obviously does need to be driving it. You guys can pick whoever you want. But then other than that, I do need your guys' marching order. So however you guys want to march, one person at least needs to be driving.
I'll drive.
I'll drive, so that Sintaris says driving. All right, so our wizard is driving. We're opening very Lord of the Ringsy here.
I would probably be a little bit in front of the wagon, just relying on my training and my god, the finder of trails, to kind of guide us a little bit if there's any issues.
All right, Ripped. Where are you standing?
Can I ride in the wagon?
Yeah, absolutely. The wagon, you can ride. There's room to push things around. It's kind of just full of like sacks of flour, salted pork, some mining equipment, making you think there's probably some mining operation going on at Phandelver.
I definitely feel more important if I'm in the wagon.
As long as you feel important, then everything's fine.
Yeah. Well,
All right, so you're in the wagon. Sintaris, you're driving, so you're gonna have this big burly human just kind of popping in behind you among the barrels, among the pork. Better count it to make sure you got everything by the time you get there. So you've probably been on the Triboard Trail now for half a day. As you come around this bend, you spot 2 dead horses taking up your entire trail. They're about 50 feet ahead of you. They're blocking the path, and each of them has several of these black feathered arrows sticking into them.
I pull back on the reins to stop the oxen.
Okay. So, Michelle, he can't be over here. All right, so... Oh, hello. Sorry, my little halfling stopped by for a visit.
It happens.
Oh, he wanted to stay in halfling.
That's a familiar sound.
All right. So, yeah, you pull back on the reins. The oxen kind of pull back, and Rip, you kind of get jolted a little bit, knocking into some of the barrels as he stops. The woods, they press in pretty close to the trail here, and there's these steep embankments that kind of come up along each side. So you probably wouldn't be able to climb anything, and there's some pretty dense thickets on either side of the road.
Apologies for the abrupt halt, gentlemen. We have an obstruction in the road.
So I kind of look back a little bit confused because I'm fairly short, and so you have a much better view from up there. I can not really see what's going on up ahead, so just kind of turn around. And what do you see?
What can I discern from looking at the horses, apart from the arrows?
Well, as you look over them, you don't even need to roll to do it. You know for sure from when you met Gundren, this is his horse, and the other horse belongs to Sildar Hallwinter, the warrior that accompanied him. And it's pretty clear that the arrows are what killed the horses. If you want, you can inspect a little closer. If you want, Grynar, you're probably a few feet ahead because you probably walked on a couple feet after the cart stopped because you didn't really hear it stop.
Sure.
That's when you'll spot the horses over there. So you're probably a good 40, 35 feet from the horses now. Ripped and Sintaris, you guys are probably still about 45.
Yeah, so I think as soon as I see that and they stop, I'd kind of pull my shield off of my back, get my warhammer ready, and just kind of cautiously approach, see what it is, kind of looking around to see if there's anything still here.
Okay. If you want to go ahead and roll me a perception. No, investigation. We'll do investigation. I like that better.
It is a...
It's my choice.
8. Awesome.
An 8? That's good enough for you to notice that there's the saddlebags have all been looted, torn open, stuff strewn everywhere. And nearby, you can see an empty leather map case. So now you kind of approach
back to the group and just shout, bandits, I hate them.
This is a very good observation.
All right. So as Grynar looks back at you and yells bandits, you guys, are you guys stopping where you are? Are you approaching? What do you want to do?
I'm going to stay sitting on the wagon, and I'm going to be looking at the brush on either side of the trail for any signs of movement.
Okay. So why don't you go ahead and you can roll me a perception check here.
Okay. My modifier is. Okay.
How do you know what dice to roll?
Unless it's damage or anything, you're going to roll a d20 for pretty much everything.
Okay.
And then you're going to add whatever modifiers are on your sheet for your skills and your abilities and things like that.
For perception, what would that be?
Perception is a wisdom-based. If you look on your character sheet, you see where it says...
I see now. Plus 3, yeah.
So if you all want to roll perception, you can.
I did not roll well. I got a 6.
You got a 6, okay.
So if I roll a d20 and the perception's plus 3,
yep.
How does that work?
So go ahead and roll the 20 and then add the 3 to whatever number you get. And then
I got a 15 for perception.
15, okay.
I have an 18 for perception, plus 3.
You say you rolled an 18?
Yeah.
And then plus 3, so you got 21. Wow.
Does it
not
go above 20?
Oh, yeah. The dice itself only goes to 20, but any modifiers can put you above 20.
Oh, okay.
But you're rolling 20s. That's good. We'll chalk that up to beginners.
Nice.
All right, so Sintaris, you're kind of, you got your hood pulled up. You've been driving for quite a while, so you're a little groggy. You're not really seeing much. You're kind of tired, probably much like you are right now at 3:30 in the morning in Australia. But Grynar and Ripped, what are your guys' armor classes?
Mine is 18 with my shield out.
Mine says 17.
Okay. All right. And then you guys probably hear the dice rolls going, don't you? All right. So Grynar, what you see is you see a little bit of a ruffle on the feather on the thickets there on the right side of the trail, and by the time you look over there, this arrow goes whizzing by your head and sticks into the wood right next to you, Sintaris, in the cart. It kind of like alerts you a little bit. At this point, there's 4 goblins kind of step out on either side of the thickets in front of the horses, and they all have their bows drawn ready to go. So if you guys want to roll initiative. And initiative, Jeff, is just rolling the d20 and adding in the number next to your armor class. So, and you guys can put it in the chat if you want. You can just send it to me that way.
So d20 plus 17.
Yeah, so roll your d20 and add in whatever your... No, not 17, the number next to it. To the right.
Oh, my initiative -1. Boy.
I got a 3 after my modifier. Awesome.
That's okay. That's okay. Get it out of the way early.
22.
I rolled a 20 exactly. -1, so 19.
19. And then I should probably roll for the goblins. Huh? Let's see. Another roll. Okay. All right, so I'm gonna roll that. It's gonna be Sintaris, then Ripped, and the goblins, and then Grynar pulling up the rear. All right, so Sintaris, you just saw this arrow get sunk right into the side of your wagon there. You're probably still a good 40, 35 feet. We'll say 35 from the 4 goblins that just popped out, and you can see them clearly. They all have their bows drawn.
Okay. I'm going to cast Sleep.
Sleep. Do it.
All right.
That's
So,
awesome.
And then what's the save for that? A wisdom?
I don't believe there is a save. I have to roll to see how
that's
many
right.
hit points are
We just rolled
affected.
that. We just rolled that last night, didn't we?
I roll 25 for the number of hit points that are affected.
$25 is a good roll on that.
Okay, so you have 25 hit points. So you can put.
How does that work, by the way, with sleeping and hit points?
Sleep is you roll a certain amount of dice, and you roll the d20 and add in your modifier from the sleep spell, and that's the number of hit points that you can put together. So, like, if one monster equals 25 hit points, then you're only going to be able to put that monster to sleep. But if you have multiple monsters that their HP adds up to like 25, you can put all of them to sleep.
Oh, okay, cool.
You can put 3 of them to sleep. So they're kind of staggered in a square kind of shape. I guess more of a trapezoid. So there's 2 in the front, and then back and a little outside of them, there's 2 more. And they're, like I said, about 35 feet from you.
Well, then I'll put to sleep the 2 in the front and 1 of the 2 in the back.
Okay, so those guys 2 sleep, and then that wears off when they take damage, right?
Yes, that's right.
And then otherwise it's 10 rounds.
Let me check on my thingo here. Yes, that's right. 1 minute.
Okay. All right. So you see the first 3 of these. They kind of like they're holding their bows a little bit. And they kind of like start to nod, and their bows kind of slump. And all of a sudden, the 3 in the front just kind of slump down, and the other one's just kind of looking around like, "What the hell just happened?" And then that will take us to Ripped, unless you want to move, Sintaris. You still have that.
I believe I'll stay where I am.
Our glass cannon of a wizard.
And you put him to sleep, right?
Yeah, he put him to sleep.
Yeah, 3 out of 4 of them are asleep.
Ripped, you're probably the same distance because you're still in the back of the cart, so about 35 feet.
And John, you're a dwarf cleric?
Yes.
You haven't done anything yet?
No, he's going to go last because of the
Okay.
initiative order.
Yeah.
All right. So I can throw a javelin at them between 30 and 120 feet.
Yeah, hold on. Let me get your sheet back out. I have everybody's sheets pulled up here. Yeah,
But I
your
haven't chosen like any like skills or spells or anything like that. So
no, you haven't done any of that yet. You just have physical attacks. But the javelin is ranged, and what it means is 30 feet. You can throw it without any hindrance. If you go between 30 and 120 feet, you're going to have disadvantage.
Yep.
On your roll. Anything over 120 feet, you can't hit at all.
Right. So it's 35 feet.
Yeah. So you would roll at disadvantage. So you would
Which
roll
means you roll twice and take the lower roll.
Yep. So roll
Okay.
a d20 twice and take the lower of the 2 numbers.
And the attack bonus says +5.
Yep. So once you take the lower, whichever one you end up taking, then you add in the +5.
And then it also says 1d6 +3 piercing.
So once you hit, that's the damage you'll roll. You'll roll 1d6.
Oh, so the first roll is if I hit, and the second roll is how much damage?
No, the first 2 rolls that you're going to be doing.
Determine which one I choose.
Yeah, you're going to have to choose the lower.
All right.
Well,
I rolled a 20 and a 13. So 13.
So 13 plus 5 will be 18, which does hit. So you can go ahead and roll for damage, and then.
And I roll a d6 for damage.
Yep, 1d6 and add 3.
2 plus 3 is 5.
All right, which one are you aiming at? I mean, there's obviously 3 asleep.
Yeah, I'm aiming at the ones that is awake.
The ones awake. Okay, so you kind of go up and you kind of.
That was which one?
It's the back right. So they're in a kind of a square. It's the back right one that's still standing.
Okay.
So you jump down off of your the cart there, and you kind of take one of your javelins off your back, and you kind of just kind of look a little bit, wait, and then you flick it, and it just goes and it sinks into the goblin's leg, and it kind of lets out a scream. You're like, ah, as it gets this javelin going through its leg. And then that will be the goblin's turns, which.
Perfect. Now he can't run away.
You can move closer if you want to, because you still have a move.
Okay. I'll move closer. Yeah.
Okay. They're probably 35 feet, so you can go, what, 30?
I'll move up first where the dwarf cleric is. What's the dwarf cleric's name?
That is
Grynar.
Grynar?
And he's probably about 20 feet from them.
I'll move up to him.
Okay. All right. So yeah, and then Grynar, as he finishes the javelin throw, it's like almost as he lets off the javelin throw, he kind of uses the momentum and runs up right next to you and just kind of readies himself. And that'll take us to the goblins, which are asleep. And there's no way I can roll to wake them up, right? That's the way spell sleep works.
Yeah, that's right. I don't think they take any saving throws or anything. They just stay asleep until they take damage or until the spell ends.
I believe you can use your action to wake them up.
Okay. All right. Well, they're gonna stay asleep for now because I want to. And then this last one will kind of look and kind of realize he's outmatched if he just uses a bow. So he's gonna drop the bow, pull out the scimitar from his belt, and he's gonna come sprinting at you, Rip, because he just saw you chuck a javelin in his leg. And he will get a 19. Does that hit you? 19. What's your armor class? 17?
17.
Yeah, so that would hit. So you take 3 slashing damage. So he kind of runs up to you and unsheathes his scimitar and just kind of slashes down and gets a nice little gash across your chest, trying a little chink in your armor.
He runs up with a javelin in his leg?
No, he has a scimitar.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. And he kind of lets a slash down across your chest and just kind of opens up a little wound there and a chink in your chainmail.
Intrepid little goblinoid.
That will bring us back to Grynar.
Yeah, so I kind of smile to myself as I see him run up. I assume he's right beside me now, right?
Yeah, he's diagonal to you.
Yeah, so I kind of smile as he runs up right beside me, and hopefully he's a little bit distracted by trying to attack the fighter. So I just heft my warhammer and swing out with the warhammer at him. For a 17.
That will hit. So go ahead and roll some damage.
All right. For 5 damage.
All right. So go ahead and describe how you fell this goblin.
Yeah, I think what it is he's a little bit distracted, and I kind of swing out at him, but because I'm low to the ground, I actually go for his knee, knock his knee out, and then kind of in the same swing, hit him in the chest, and it just kind of drops him down to the ground.
Excellent hit.
As you come down with your warhammer, you hit him in that same knee where the javelin got him, and it just snaps off. The bone already kind of half-hewn from where the javelin hit it, so good kill, Master Dwarf, good kill.
Just kind of as his body falls down at it. And, I hate bandits.
And anything else you want to do?
I'll just move as close to the other ones as I can. I should be able to get pretty much right to him with 25 feet of movement.
Yeah, you can get right up next to him.
Okay. Yeah, I go up. I don't do anything. I just kind of walk and start looking at them, see if they're out or what's going on with them.
I suggest if any of us has some rope that we might bind these 3 that are asleep.
Do we need to bind all 3, or can we just kill 2 and bind 1?
That would also work.
Very dark for a cleric. Let's kill them while they sleep.
I see no need to burden ourselves with more prisoners than is absolutely necessary.
Right. No, okay, so that brings us back around to Sintaris. The dwarf's back is turned to you, so you didn't actually see the swing hit, but you just saw the goblin in front of him just clump to the ground. Blood spewing from his now severed leg that you saw fall the opposite direction from the knee down. So that'll bring us to your turn, and you're still about 30 feet away because you're on the wagon.
Suppressing my gag reflex at the horror that I just witnessed. I believe I have some rope. Do I? No, I am without rope.
If you don't,
You were not
I
well
do.
prepared.
And I probably would have left it in the. I probably would have left my rope in the cart as opposed to just carrying it with me the whole time. So probably my pack is in the cart and it's got 50 feet of rope in it.
All right. If you don't mind, I will grab your rope from the pack in the cart and hop down off of the cart and make my way toward the nearest goblin and start binding him.
So yeah, you walk up to the first one and like you don't have to roll anything because he's asleep. He's not going to struggle. You kind of just kick his weapon away from him, make sure he doesn't have it, and tie his back hands and his feet if you want.
For yes, definitely hands and feet at this point.
So yeah, you get kind of both those together. You kind of hog tie him, so he's kind of laying on his stomach like a hog tied. His feet and his hands up behind his back, tied together.
All right. Good.
And then that will be your movement and action, so that's pretty good. That'll bring us to rips. So you saw Grynar completely collapse this goblin that ran up to you, and you saw Sintaris jump down, run past you, and tie up the closest goblin, leaving two goblins still asleep on the ground in front of you.
So I'll let you know, Sintaris, that is one heck of a knot. I did not think I could do the same thing.
I've studied extensively.
Yeah. It shows. And so now we have to both kill the other two, right? So we decided we decided to kill the other two. So my action is then to attack the one that's not tied up and sleeping.
Okay, so yeah,
can I also take my javelin back from the other guy's leg?
Yeah, as you walk by in the dead body, you can just pop it out and put it back in your back. A little blood still dripping.
I have to clean it first, and
okay,
and then we're good.
All right, so yeah, you can kind of just like wipe it off as you're walking.
Yeah.
And then back there, and then you will get advantage because they're on the ground, they're asleep, so you have advantage on your attack roll. So this time you can roll 2 and take the higher.
Yeah, and I'll take my great axe, and
that ought to do it.
Yeah, it's a family heirloom. It's very important to me. So I decided to get behind the bandit and just right in the back of his skull, just sink the axe in with one swipe.
All right, yeah, go ahead and roll for that so you can.
All right, it's a D20, right?
Yeah, roll 2 D20s and take the higher.
If one hits the other, does that change? Still, I have to wait for the final dice to stop moving?
Yeah.
Okay, so 12.
That was your highest?
Yeah.
And then what do you have as your modifiers? 5, 17. Yeah, that hits. So you can go ahead and roll damage.
Okay, so now I do a D12 with 3 slashing. So it is a 11 plus 3.
Yeah, you can go ahead and
go
ahead and describe how you decimate this goblin.
Well, I didn't anticipate my axe being that sharp. It must be from how clean it is, and it went pretty much halfway into his body, and he just kind of started slowly splitting and falling apart. And I took my foot and stepped on his back and pulled out my axe the rest of the way.
Yeah, and as you pull it out, you've hit some serious arteries, so there's some blood just kind of spewing up from his spine, and the rest of it just split him in half.
And it's now on my face. And Jesus, I think
I could diagram.
I think I just look over and give you a little bit of a nod.
I could diagram the entire internal anatomy of a goblinoid now from the mess that lies before us.
Oh, and since I also speak Dwarvish, I would like to I don't know what a dwarvish thing would actually be, but a dwarvish like congratulatory like word. I look over at Grynar. I'm not sure what a dwarvish word is.
I mean, you can speak English. I don't know Dwarven. So.
Fuck yeah.
I read it, but I can't speak it. So you kind of offer your congratulations, and then that'll bring us back to the goblins. And Jason, you said I can use an action to wake up.
If one of the goblins is awake and alive, you can use an action, like their action, to wake one of the other ones up.
Yeah, well, they're the only live one has been decimated by a warhammer, so no. So that goblins can't really do anything then, so that'll take us back to Grynar. So you have one goblin tied up in front of you, one spewing corpse of red mush, and then one goblin still passed out.
Yeah, so I think I give our fighter a nod and walk over and try and kind of duplicate the same thing, although with a hammer instead of an axe, so it'll be a little more blunt damage versus a
yeah, because that'll be so much cleaner, right?
So let's see. That is not good. 9 total.
That's what I like to hear. Yeah, so you bring your warhammer up and you got this like, yo, yeah, your little smug thing going, like, I can do that. And you kind of bring it down, and then your beard hairs kind of fling up a little bit with a gust of wind, and you miss on the ground because they flew up in your face. And you kind of smack the ground next to the goblin.
Perhaps
as it hits the ground. Yeah, as it hits the ground, I look over like, oh, I was trying to scare him awake.
Do you want to move? You want to do anything else?
No, I'm just gonna stay right by him.
Shave your beard. All right, so that'll bring us back to our friendly neighborhood wizard.
Oh. All right. I don't wish to get my hands dirty touching any of this goblin filth, so I will instead cast Ray of Frost at the remaining one.
Go for it. Freeze them.
Okay, first roll 21.
That's pretty good. Yep.
And the second roll 12, so I'll go with the 21.
Good shot. You sure you don't want the roll?
Sorry?
I mean, you can pick the... No, that's good. Yeah, so yeah, go ahead and roll the damage.
I just have to remind myself what the damage is for Ray of Frost. D8, okay. Four.
Yeah, just murdering goblins. 4 damage. Okay, so yeah, you bring up your Ray of Frost. You kind of freeze him, and you see the Ray of Frost kind of creep to the ground from your hand, and it starts to pull up around his feet. It starts to grow up his body, but then it just kind of stops just above his shoulder, so his head is still sticking out there. And as he starts to feel the frost, you see him shiver, and he starts to look and like move his head around. Can't move the rest of his body as he wakes up.
And in addition to the damage, his speed should be reduced by 10 feet until the end of its turn.
Okay. All right, so Rip, you just saw how the goblin ice cubes are made. What do you want to do?
So they're the 2 of them are dead, and one's captured and
captured and still asleep. And the other one has now been frozen for 4 damage. You said 4 damage, right?
Yes, that's right.
Yeah, so he's been frozen for 4 damage, and he has now woken up because he got...
Oh, so he's not actually frozen. He just took frost damage.
Yeah,
that's right.
Okay. How much total health does he have left?
I don't know if I should tell you that. No, he has 3 HP. He has 3 left. Goblins only have 7 HP. They're not very
Oh, okay.
good. Which is why your 11 with your great axe was just bad.
Yeah. Well, I'm still wiping off the blood on my face, and I kind of chuckle when the frost damage doesn't actually do the whole job. But it is a very beautiful frost spell that you cast.
He's making fun of you.
I did put 3 out of 4 of them to sleep.
Yes.
To be fair.
And almost me.
Until infight, you guys might TPK yourselves.
But I decided to help him out because we're buddies and try to finish the job with my great axe that is now clean again.
Oh God.
Go for it with your great axe that Grynar can see his reflection in.
This time I'm trying to do an upward swing from the bottom, just to keep a little bit of variety.
So you can split them in half from the other direction. Yeah, that works.
Yeah, exactly.
Go for it.
But I have to roll 2. No, is it disadvantage or no?
No disadvantage because he is. Well, no, he would still be prone. He would still be prone, so you can.
Okay, so I rolled a 20. I really wish you guys could see this because I'm not lying. And if I hold it up, the dice will move because of the app.
So
no, I believe you. I believe you. It's your first time. I don't
critted with a great axe.
Family
now
is legit.
Yeah, there's part of your family.
And now I got to roll a d12.
No, you roll 2. You crit it. So if you roll a natural 20, you double your damage.
I do 2.
So you roll 2 d12s plus 3.
Okay, 10.
Or you can just roll 1 d12 and then double what you rolled. I like rolling 2
and
dice.
8 plus 3.
So 18 plus 21 damage.
21 damage.
Go ahead and you can describe how you kill this goblin 3 times over.
Yeah, so I completely slice him up, severing him in 2. He has no idea what's going on. He's still able to react a little bit of with his expressions, and now he starts to feel really cold because the blood is leaving his body. And
not because of the ray of frost, because the blood's leaving his body.
Yeah, well, really cold, really cold. And since he is still cold, I will say that he kind of sticks to himself back together and doesn't move.
I like it.
So it's almost like a statue at this moment. But now he's thawing.
Not thawing. He's dead. He's gone.
Yeah.
He just did enough damage to kill 3 goblins in 1 turn.
Oh my goodness!
All right, so the other ones are
compensating for something.
So Ripped has split 2 goblins in half, 1 from the top, 1 from the bottom, and 2 giant heaping messes of blood and red. And we'll take it. That'll take us out of combat because the other ones are restrained.
Please let me wipe my axe again, though.
Yeah, I think I look over. It's kind of a mix of respect because we're killing goblins that I hate, and like I'm a little upset I couldn't do that too. So I'm a little like, oh man, you showed me up, but I'm still glad you did that.
Well, thank you very much.
That was so brutal.
Burying these goblins in a snuff box would be excessive.
You might be a Jaime Lannister after all.
Yeah, I don't like goblins that are bullies.
No, he's not. All right. So yeah, you guys are out of there. So what do you want to do with the goblin that you've left hogtied on the ground here? He hasn't come to yet, even listening to his friends be eviscerated.
I'm actually going to check out the arrows. Do they match the ones that are sticking into the horses? I'm assuming that they do.
Yeah. You kind of pull through the goblin arrows a little bit, and you see the same black, like not really well made, haphazard black arrows taped to their not taped, attached to the goblins, attached to the horses. Yeah, they're the same arrows. So you can assume that the goblins probably use this spot quite a bit for ambushes. It's pretty well hidden in the thickets there, and there's not really a lot of places to run.
Okay. I'm going to take a closer look at the horses now to see if there's anything else that we can learn that we haven't already learned.
There's not much. I mean, they've been really cleaned out. There's the map cases are torn open. They didn't even bother to unclip them. They just kind of like sliced them and let everything fall out. And there's no valuables. There's nothing left in there. The map case, it's empty. It looks like it held a pretty average size map. Nothing too huge. Mm-hmm. So you can probably assume that it was just a little area, maybe a town, not a world map, anything like that. But other than that, no, there's not much else you can discern besides that the horses are dead.
Mm-hmm. Can I tell how long they've been dead?
They've probably been dead Only a few hours. I mean, it was not long ago that these goblins are probably the same goblins that killed the horses, the ones that you just blew up.
Okay.
So yeah, probably 4 or 5 hours.
All right. Well, I'm assuming that's going to take my action, so I'll just suggest to my companions that one of them may wish to awaken the goblin, see if he knows what has happened to Gundren.
We're out of initiative, so if you guys you don't have to worry about actions or anything. You guys can just do what you want, unless you keep going.
Okay.
I think I
keep a
hold my
turn
hand
order.
up to say like, yeah, I got this, and then you hear me muttering a few words under my breath, and I'm going to cast Thaumaturgy a couple of times to get a couple of effects from it before I wake him up. I'm going to have my voice boom 3 times as loud as normal, and as well alter the appearance of my eyes so that when you look at it, it's almost just like glowing white.
Good.
So I reach down, kind of like slap the goblin across the face to wake him up, and then when he comes to, I kind of open my eyes to look at him, and all he sees is just like white, and that's it, like glowing white, and then shout at him, which sounds unnaturally loud even, and just say, "Where did those who were riding these horses go?"
He kind of looks at me for a second, just like wide-eyed, like struck with fear as he comes to. And then he realizes he's tied up. He kind of like starts to wriggle a little bit. He doesn't answer you.
So I think as he does that, I kind of pull out my hammer and kind of put it on his head, not hard, but just threatening. Like I could just go like that, and that would be that. And just kind of don't ask anything, but make the threat known as I'm doing that.
If that doesn't work, show him the goo that used to be his companions.
Yeah, because as you set the axe down on his head, kind of like a Thor style, you're not gonna be able to pick it up. You set the hammer down his head. It kind of like puts to the side like this, and the side that he kind of like naturally falls to, he sees the goblin mess, and he's like, and he just kind of freezes, like, all right. What do you want to know?
I want to know those who are riding these horses. What happened to them, and where did they go?
He looks up at you and goes, I don't know where they went. We were just told to attack them. They were probably taken to the hideout. I can take you there. I can take you there if you just let me live.
So I'm a little skeptical at that. So I just kind of look forward and can I tell? Does he seem like he's telling the truth? Is he sufficiently scared, or is he trying to lead us into a trap?
You can roll your insight. You want to counter it with his.
That is a 10.
With your modifier?
Yeah.
Okay. As far as you can tell, yeah, he seems to be telling the truth. As most people who have a hammer stuck on their head do.
All right. So I think probably by the time that conversation is over, because thaumaturgy only lasts for a minute, so those effects probably start to fade, and I can feel that. So I kind of stand up and turn around, not really wanting him to see them fade, thinking that he might, get unscared if he sees me not be crazy. So I kind of get up and just call over my shoulder, like, he says he'll take us. It's talking to the other party members. He says he'll take us to a hideout. My guess is if my cousin was taken, he was taken there.
How many more of you can we expect at the hideout?
He kind of doesn't look at you because he kind of sees you as the wizard in the cloak, and he's kind of like doesn't feel like you're as threatening as the dwarf. So I mean, if you want to roll an intimidation check for me.
Oh, I don't know how much good that's gonna do. No, he's not scared of me at all.
I might be able to.
I rolled
So intimidation
one.
rolls. That's just again. It's still a 20 plus your bonus.
Intimidation skill. Yeah, there's an intimidation skill down there that you can use.
I would like to intimidate him.
Go for it, because he kind of looks up at Sintaris and says, "No, It kind of goes back to like the hammer sitting on his head, trying to like.
Yeah, and I think as I see him kind of look at the wizard and not do anything, and then the fighter steps up, I want to cast Thaumaturgy again, but this one it's a sound and it originates from a point of my choice. So I'm going to basically have it originate from the fighter who's actually, sorry, what is the name of your fighter? Sorry.
Ripped Bearick.
Okay. Yeah, so I have it originate from Ripped and say it's kind of the sound of ominous whispers is really all the goblin hears as you're doing whatever you're going to say to him.
And I'm going to say that he can make this easy on himself or hard, and he could take us to the encampment and let us know how many people are there, or it's going to get worse for him. And I would like to intimidate him by grabbing his hand and putting it on the nearby tree stump, and use my axe and put it right on top of his finger, or his. I'm not sure if goblins have fingers. Maybe a couple fingers. The axe is really big.
No, they have fingers. They're still humanoid.
To give him one opportunity to answer without enduring a very painful but minor wound.
You kind of, as you pull him, he kind of like struggles because the way he's tied, he's like, easy way probably sounds best. I'll take you there. It's probably about a mile or so, 5 miles. Probably 20 of us in there. Can I go now?
I would still like to swing my axe at his fingers.
Go for it. I'll let you. You don't even have to roll. You just kind of swing, and he's like, as he's going to go now.
I roll a 20.
Stop.
I'm sure I'm getting all of them out of the way now. Just to take.
Don't even roll damage. You don't even have to roll damage.
All right. So I was really careful, and I was very skilled with his axe, and only took off his pinky, and I did make it easier for him instead of more than one finger.
So as you do that, he kind of finishes and goes, "Can I go now?" He kind of starts screaming as his finger just kind of gets severed off and falls to the ground.
I would like to ask again, though, is he sure it's about 20?
Yeah, you can roll a insight.
All right,
So roll a d20 and add an insight in there.
15.
Yeah, he's definitely telling the truth. You can tell in his eyes and the way he's breathing and the way he's talking that he's in too much pain to come up with a lie.
All right. I clean off my axe again. I don't like goblin finger blood on my...
I don't think you like much of anything on your axe there.
No.
There is a speck of dust on here.
I would. That seems to fit the character. I'm always cleaning it, actually.
All right, so yeah, he'll offer to take you guys there. Told you there's about 20 people there, and as far as he knows, that is where they took that is where they took Gundren and Sildar, as far as he knows. He of course only saw them get dragged away. He returned to his little post there outside the thing. But yeah, he offers to take you guys there if you want.
All right.
And he tells you there's about
loose
20.
the bond on his, so that he can actually walk.
Okay.
I suggest that he should lead the way. As in, we walk behind him, to be more precise.
Yeah. What do you guys want to do for a marching order for this? Goblin first, and then.
Yeah, we probably lead him with like 10 feet of rope or so he's kind of walking about 10 feet in front. And I would offer, if my party members are up for it, to kind of hold the rope.
Okay.
Sounds great. I would like to go back in the wagon. My all axe swinging took a lot of energy out of me.
Okay. Now, as you go to climb in the wagon, he kind of looks and goes, okay. They might have had trouble fitting it, but yeah, you can bring it. It'll be a tight squeeze.
Oh, okay. If the wagon will fit, then I'll climb back aboard and drive it behind us. Or drive it behind my two companions then.
All right. Is there anything else you guys want to do before he leads you on?
Can we check the around the horses for any things that are left behind, and check the
No, yeah.
on their body?
Yeah, Sintaris had just checked them a little while ago. They're pretty cleaned out. They're all slashed open. There's not really anything left in them. Full of holes from the arrows, but yeah, they've been cleaned out. The goblins took everything.
And the dead ones are empty too?
The dead ones, they probably have a few copper pieces on them, so they're probably about 5 copper pieces total, but not much else. They don't really have much in the way of pockets.
Definitely want to take those copper pieces.
Or income.
Yeah, sorry. So you get the 5 copper pieces, and then if you guys are ready, he can take you on your way.
Sounds good.
Yeah, so I let him go with that about 10 feet of rope and then just kind of start following him.
All right, so he kind of goes up to just at the end of those thickets that he was hiding in, and then he takes a left on the north side of the road there and starts leading you through a trail that's kind of been cut out there. Anybody who has a survival skill, you can roll a survival check.
Oh, no, I don't.
No.
I got a 21.
You got 20. Oh, jeez. You can tell that there's probably been about a dozen goblins that have come and gone along this trail, as well as 2 human-sized bodies being hauled away from that ambush site that you guys were just at.
Nice.
That you can tell along this trail. And whether you want to share that with your party or not, that's up to you.
My keen sense of survival tells us that there are 12 goblins that went this way along with the 2 people we're looking for.
Can you tell how long ago that was?
Can I?
Not that you can discern. It was fairly recent. Just like you could, like Sintaris saw at the horses, you're probably assuming about 4 or 5 hours. All right, so you guys, you can easily steer the wagon. It gets a little wider after you get to the entrance there, so you can easily steer the wagon through there. And then you get to a little bit farther, and it starts to close in again, and he kind of looks back and be like, the oxen won't fit.
All right.
But he kind of points to a tree there, and he's like, you could tie him if you want.
All right. I don't usually take advice from goblins, but I will in this case.
I snap the rope back and pull him back a little bit and say, just know that if any of your kind happen to do anything to these oxen,
we have more important things than a couple of oxen and some salted pork.
Mm.
All right, so yeah, if you try it out, he's gonna wait for you to tie it off, and then he'll keep leading you on. How do you guys, Sintaris and Ripped, how do you guys want to walk now that you're not in the wagon?
I would probably still be. Sorry, go ahead.
I was just going to say, I suggest, gentlemen, that I'm a little bit squishy, so I should perhaps be between the 2 more heavily armored members of our party.
Fair enough.
Yeah, I would think that.
And I request that I walk on the right side.
Of the wizard, or?
On the right side of the wizard, yep.
Okay, all right.
And there's going to be like a foot ahead of him on the right side.
Okay.
Yeah, so I guess we're probably walking kind of in a bit of a triangle. I'd be on the left because my shield is in my right arm and Warhammer in my left, so it makes sense because I can kind of put it in front of them.
Okay, all right, perfect. All right, so it kind of leads you up. You've been on the trail probably about 10 minutes from where you left the wagon, and then Grynar, go ahead and roll me a wisdom, like a perception check for me.
Can do. That's not. I don't see anything. Perception. You said that was 6 total.
A 6. Okay. So as you're walking, no, it's only Grynar that's rolling.
Okay.
He's the a little bit ahead of you because he's following.
Gotcha.
But now you would need to roll a dexterity, Grynar.
I am not very dexterous, but I can try. That's a 4. So, ouch.
And so all of a sudden, what you see is Grynar is walking. All of a sudden, you hear this step and this crunch, and it doesn't sound quite right underneath the leaves like everything else does. And all of a sudden, you see Grynar just fly up in the air, about probably 10 feet off the ground, hanging upside down, getting caught in the snare. And as he goes up, the rope kind of falls out of his hand, and you see the goblins start to take off.
All right, I'm going to hurriedly see if I can grab the rope that is still attached to the goblin.
Yes,
Keep
roll
him from running ahead.
I'd say dexterity would probably be good, trying to jump after the rope. Or you can roll in athletics if you want. You can roll it too.
All right. Well, I'm not very, not much of a strong person, so I'll stick with the dexterity check.
Okay.
11.
11. You go to do it, and you kind of fall forward. You get the rope a little bit, but the way he's running, it just slips out just in time from your hand, and he's probably another couple feet away now.
Bugger. All right.
Am I able to cast a spell at him, or am I a little too disoriented by being upside down in this trap?
No. You're just hanging upside down. So as long as all the blood hasn't rushed to your head yet, you can kind of do whatever you want.
Okay, yeah. So if I see you grabbing at the rope and missing, I would probably try and cast Sacred Flame at him to at least get his attention.
Go ahead.
I'll cast Sacred Flame. A dex save.
All right, dex. He gets a 12.
And my spell save DC is...
Probably higher than 12.
I think it's 13.
All right, so yeah, he fails.
Yeah, 13. And so he will take 3 radiant damage.
3 damage, okay. All right, so yeah, you kind of hit the flame and then hits him in the back, and he kind of falls forward on his stomach. And he's like, ugh. All right, so we'll cross that attempt off. Just kind of lays there and smoldering from the giant burns he now has on his back.
I struggle for a little bit trying to get out, but don't, and just kind of like look over the other guys, like some help here would be great.
Yeah, so yeah,
Okay,
you guys
well,
are free to hang out there, so whatever you want to do to try and attempt to get him down if you want, or you can leave him there. That's cool.
I will take my javelin and throw it at the rope. It's not really a combat roll, right? Because we're not in combat.
No, you could still.
Still miss the rope.
Yeah, you can do it. Yeah, I won't make you roll at disadvantage because it'll probably be hard enough to hit the rope anyway. So.
Yeah. Well, if I'm closer than 30 feet, there is no disadvantage. So
as you start like winding up to throw the javelin, like you could just reach it up and I can grab the end of it.
Oh, okay. So I'll give you the javelin.
Yeah, I could have pictured that.
I guess that's what he does. If he tries to hold it up, I'm trying to reach down to grab it and like pull myself back down. If that's possible.
Dwarves should have harder skin though, so you don't have to be that scared.
All right, so yeah, Grynar, if you want to go ahead, you can attempt to use the tip of the javelin as kind of like a little knife if you want.
All right, what am I rolling for that?
Just roll. No, just roll strength or athletics, probably. Just try to cut the rope.
Athletics?
Yeah.
Modified.
Modified 20. All right. So yeah, you go ahead and you cut the rope there, but as you do it, you don't expect the sharpness. He keeps his javelins very well kept, and this thing slices through, and you're not expecting it to go through in one. And you kind of fall, and you take 1 bludgeoning damage as you hit the ground.
Gonna land, and it's
I try to catch
pretty
him before
heavy
you.
hit. I might not be very tall as a dwarf, but I'm definitely thick, and I'm wearing heavy chainmail and a shield. So there's a lot of weight there, and just kind of it's a pretty loud clang as I hit the ground and groan for a little bit before getting up. I'm like, oh.
Yeah. That can happen. If I know what javelin you said, if you want to try and roll an acrobatics check, you can try and dive and try and catch him.
All right. Oh no, I definitely did not. A 4.
All right, so you kind of run forward to stem, but you trip on a root and you fall just short. And as you look up, you see this dwarf laying on his back and his shield and everything just slammed down.
Mm-hmm. I was trying to catch the javelin, not really the dwarf.
I don't care about the dwarf. I want my tool.
I kind of groan and get myself back up on my knees and look over and you're like, can you follow the trail from here? Do we need the goblin still?
I'd like to ask him if there are any more nasty surprises waiting for us on this trail, but it should probably be someone else who does the asking, given that he's not intimidated by me whatsoever.
Oh, definitely. I have is asking persuasion.
If you want to
He
ask
seems
him,
to respond better to intimidation.
you can try and intimidate him.
Okay. I'm going to tell him that I thought it was pretty clear about letting us know what to expect, and since he didn't, I would like him to tell us what to expect if there's any more traps. Otherwise, I'm taking off his entire hand. And he only has one chance to answer, or else I'm going to take it off.
He kind of looks. He kind of like flicks his 3 fingers that he has left in his hand, kind of going. I can tell you there are, but like that one, I don't know where they are. I didn't set them.
Alrighty.
But you can probably just tell Fatfoot over here to watch his step.
So I glare over at him and
he just
start.
insulted you, man.
Yeah, I glare over at him and start the chanting for casting Sacred Flame again, and I'll probably go through with it if someone doesn't stop me.
The goblin goes, okay, sorry. And he kind of looks back and shoots over his shoulder like, it still burns.
So I'm not sure how much more. Sorry, I was just going to say I'm not sure how much more use this goblin has for us. If all he can tell us is that there are traps in front of us, but can't tell us where they are.
Could we lead him and make him take lots of steps everywhere?
Well, the goblin kind of turns and he goes, well, you may want to decide to do something. My lifespan's about 2 years, and you've probably wasted a good 4 hours of it.
All right, Grynar, kill him. Do the world a favor.
I look over, I nod and look over Rip to see if you have any objection to this.
The oxen might be getting hungry, so char him up.
And after he says, Sintaris says kill him, the goblin kind of looks over like, looking at you like, wow, he's a lot darker than I thought. Kind of thinking that through his head.
And then, so I basically will just keep casting Sacred Flame over and over until...
I will go ahead and allow you to successfully kill him. He only had 4 HP left anyway, so... he kind of looks up and he goes,
okay.
He didn't think you were going to do it this time either because he was able to stop you last time. He goes, wait. And he just bursts into flame and just kind of dissipates, and it kind of burns the rope off his hand, so you got one charred end of rope. You probably lost a foot. So you now have a 49.
Okay, so I pick up the rope and start wrapping it up again because it was my rope in the first place, and kind of brush off the end of it, clean it up as much as I can so there's not as many frayed ends. And just kind of like look over at the other two and almost kind of an explanation for like, I can't stand goblins. Their gods are an abomination.
Couldn't agree more.
Yep.
That one was especially objectionable.
I just want to say that could not have gone better than I planned. That was awesome.
I think we kept the wrong one alive, but...
All right, so yeah, he's gone. Trail's kind of stretched out in front of you now.
Is it an easy enough trail to follow, or will I need?
Yeah, I mean they don't really stick off of it too much. It's pretty much a straight shot. You can kind of see now where it's almost like when you see a deer trail in the woods. You can kind of see where they've gone. They don't really veer off that much.
Clearly, we're going to have to tread carefully.
Yeah, I start going. I can't really be stealthy with my chainmail, but I'm going slow at least, looking out for any more traps as we just continue following and see where it leads.
Okay. Do you guys want to keep the marching order, the Grynar, and then you two kind of next to him?
Well, perception is for traps or no? Is that right?
Yeah, perception checks is what you would roll.
So I do have 13 perception. So should I be more in the front this time?
You mean passive perception?
Yeah, that's what we're looking for.
Yeah, my passive perception is 13 as well.
Oh, okay, so it's okay either way.
Oh, looks
Same-
like we're all
same path,
equally
same group.
perceptive then.
Nice.
You're only a 13 too, Senator? Or sorry,
Yeah,
Jason?
I'm 13 as well.
13. Okay.
Yeah.
So yeah, whoever wants to lead, you can lead. I mean, I guess you're all equally as wise as the other.
It's unfortunate.
But I think we should be active with our perception, and not just rely on our passive perception. I think we should move at a pace that's slow enough that we be looking out carefully for any traps, knowing that there are traps now.
Okay. So Grynar, are you still gonna stick to the lead?
Yeah, I'll stick to the lead, but I nod. That's good advice, and kind of I'm looking. So I'm probably going about half the speed we were before. But my eyes constantly scanning back and forth, seeing if I see anything that looks really out of place.
And what time is it, by the way? Is the sun still out?
Yeah. You're probably looking about mid-afternoon.
Okay.
So you guys walk on probably about another 20 minutes. You don't really encounter anything else, but you're definitely you're timid stepping everything, and like you see the leaves just laying a different way, Grynar. You're kind of like tapping it with your foot in the end of your axe to make sure that you're not going to get flung up in the air again. And this time, as you step forward, you can roll me another perception check. You can go with advantage because you're actively looking for things.
With a 1 and a 2. That's awesome. So 5 is my roll.
Roll a dexterity save.
maybe what I was doing was I was looking off to the right when I came up to this one. At least that was 15 at least.
All right. So you don't take any damage from it, but as you're walking, you kind of hear that crunch again. You're kind of like loud exhale. You're like, oh, crap, and you fall into a pit. And the pit's probably it's not big. It's about 6 feet wide, 10 feet deep, and you just kind of fall into it. It's not steep or anything, so you can climb out if you want, but you're probably pretty embarrassed about tripping 2 traps in a row.
Yeah.
Is there anything in that pit?
Climb
no,
out
nothing in the
and
pit. You see another a little body, kind of like gnomish looking. It didn't really make it out. It's too small to climb out. But other than that, no, nothing in there.
As I'm climbing out, I say, "Hey guys, just so you know, there's a pit here."
So
Your
I see.
perception was very, very high this time, telling us. Do you want to toss up your rope so we can hold it and you can climb out?
Yeah. I mean, if you want, he doesn't even need the rope. They're slanted enough that he can just kind of climb out. No ability checks or anything that he would need.
Nice.
It's just kind of to slow people down, and it worked.
Yeah, so I'm kind of muttering under my breath, but find my way out.
Do you want me to take lead and walk a little ahead of you?
Grudgingly, like, well, I think my eyes are a little off today, so it might make sense.
All right.
All right. So as you get through it, you're still walking pretty timidly. You don't see anything else. You don't run anything else. But now you've kind of come to where the trail ends in the opening. You've kind of hit the end of this. You've probably been walking for a good half an hour to an hour. And you come across a large cave in the hillside. It's about 5 miles from where you were just ambushed by these goblins. And you see this stream kind of flows out of the cave. And it's screened by this dense briar, these thickets, kind of similar to the ones that were on the side of the road there. And there's also there's a dry path that kind of leads into the cave on the right-hand side of the stream. You guys come up here on the left-hand side of the stream.
The left-hand side. Okay. Do we need to cross the stream in order to get to the cave?
If you wanted to walk on that little dry patch, yeah, you can try and climb the stream if you want.
Okay. I suggest a stealthy approach, gentlemen.
Can we see anything inside of the cave or anything going on activity-wise?
The cave's dark, but not too dark, so you can't. You don't see anything going on.
Can you hear anything?
If you want to roll a perception check, everybody for me, you can see if you hear anything going on.
There we go. That's better. 22.
Dang!
18.
I gotta. Shit. If the dot's on the bottom, that means it's the. Is the dot on the bottom or the top for a 6 or a 9?
The 9 is on the 6. It's below the circle.
Okay, so I got a 6 plus a 3, so 9.
Okay.
I got 18.
Okay, perfect. So you all pretty much did pretty well. So on the east side of that stream, where you see the dry path that kind of goes into the cave, there's a small area, those briar thickets, that's been hollowed out to form like a blind or a lookout post. There's wooden planks that kind of flatten out all the foliage in there and provide some kind of room for guards to lie down and watch for people, because if goblins like to do anything, they like to ambush people, clearly. Now, you look into that area and you see a pair of goblins lurking there right now. If you guys all want to roll stealth checks, you can see if they see you. Because I know Sintaris, you said you're kind of moving pretty stealthily.
Mine has a star next to it.
Your stealth?
Yeah.
Oh, because you guys have...
you're wearing chainmail, so you have to do it at disadvantage. So roll 2, take the lowest one.
Gotcha.
Oh, I see.
A 4, so I'm not stealthy.
16 minus 1, 15.
Okay.
I rolled a 13.
13. And then... Okay. Goblins rolled a natural 20.
Oh. Shoot,
all right, so you kind of peek around the corner, and the goblins kind of perk up a little bit and look at you. You kind of look at you, and they're a little confused, and they're like, wait a minute, you're not supposed to be here. And then they get their bows ready there. And everyone can roll some initiative.
How close are we to the goblins?
You round the corner, you're probably a good 15 feet.
21.
Initiative is armor class?
No, that's the one next to it.
It's the one next.
Oh, well, -1. Okay.
Sean, what'd you say you got?
13.
Sweet. 19.
Goblins is pretty All right, so Sintaris, you are up first.
Okay. I'm going to cast Ray of Frost. Is one of them closer to the entrance of the cave than the other?
Yeah,
Or
there's
they're
one
both
standing
equidistant?
they're equidistant, but I guess if you want to look at the way you're looking at, the one on the left is closer to the cave, and the one on the right is kind of more into the thicket.
All right. The one that's closest to the entrance of the cave, I'll cast Ray of Frost on him.
Okay.
So spell attack roll. 22.
That'll hit. That'll do it.
Okay. For 6 damage. And a reduction in its speed of 10 feet.
All right. So yeah, you kind of like focus yourself a little bit, and this frost kind of erupts from your fingers, crawling across the ground, and it kind of bursts up and shatters in a bunch of icicles at the first goblin, and just takes a bunch from just sticking into him like little spears, and just kind of like screams a little bit as he kind of recovers. He's bleeding pretty profusely. And then that will...
When the speed is reduced by 10 feet, how does that work? Like,
normally, like your speed, like you can move 30 feet. So if you were hit with the Ray of Frost, you would only be able to move 20 feet.
oh, okay, so goblins can move 30 feet?
Goblins can too, but one of them can only move 20 now.
Okay.
That will take us through the damage. That'll take us to Ripped.
I would, let's see. We're 15 feet away. So I'd like to run up to the one that has full health and swing my great axe at his neck.
Swing away, dear friend.
Try to decapitate this neck.
He is about to,
Probably.
about to Ned start this boy.
All right, so I have. Yeah. What is is there a modifier for the chance that I hit someone?
No. There's you can just roll your natural attack.
All right, so I rolled a 5. So I think not too good.
No, this goblin kind of at the last minute sees your axe coming, just kind of ducks below it, and it swings right over his head.
Slippery little suckers.
And then I would like to. I'll kind of hang out right there.
Okay. And then that will take us to Grynar.
How many are there? There was 2 of them?
There's 2 of them. One of them is pretty heavily damaged with holes in them because the ice is melted by now. And the other one's still standing, just ducked out of the way of Rip's axe blow.
Okay, can I run to like a position to be in range of both of them with melee?
Yeah, I mean they're within 5 feet of each other, so if you were to run up to them, you could get either one.
Okay, so I'll run up so I'm close to both of them, and then I'll attack the one that has full health with my warhammer.
Go for it. Roll me some attacks.
Modified 22.
Yeah, that'll hit. That'll do it. You're looking for a 15. They're only wearing leather armor and they have some shields. So.
D8 plus 2, 3, 5 damage.
5 damage. All right, so you come up with your warhammer and you kind of slam down on this thing's shoulder, and its arm just kind of like dislocates as his shoulder just kind of pops out from where you hit it, and he's kind of like lets out a little quick scream.
And I believe that's all I can do.
Yes, that's all you can do. Yeah, because you moved as well. All right, so that'll bring us around to the goblins. The first goblin, he's kind of he's to the left of you and Rip and Grynar, kind of straight in front of you, Sintaris. He kind of looks at you and he's kind of ready. He pulls out his scimitar and shield, and he's going to come at you and kind of, even though scimitars aren't really for stabbing, he's going to try and stab the scimitar through you.
Sorry, which one of us is he attacking?
You.
Me. Okay.
Yeah. Does a 14 hit you?
It would if I didn't cast shield, which I'm going to do as my reaction.
Nicely played. All right, so yeah, he kind of comes up with his scimitar, and kind of gets ready to shove it at you. And then as it does, this glowing aura just kind of emits from you. And for whatever reason, almost like a magnet repelling, the scimitar kind of veers off to the right, missing you. Nice. And then the second goblin will kind of look confused and be like, I'm not gonna mess with that, and he'll go for Grynar right in front of him. A 7 hits you.
A 7 does not.
I would be concerned if it did. So yeah, he's kind of like baffled by this magic and watching his friend get frozen, and also getting his shoulders like slayed. He kind of goes to slash at you with the thing, and you kind of just sidestep it a little bit, glancing it off your shield as it comes down. And that will end their turn. Back up to Sintaris. You've got a goblin directly in front of you now.
Okay. Let's see. I will attempt a shocking grasp.
Shocking grasp. Go ahead.
That's a
grasp him shockingly.
That's a spell attack, isn't it?
Yes.
Okay.
That was a great kind of effect.
I didn't do that.
14.
14. Showing you attacking. Yeah, that barely misses. You're looking for a 15 to hit the goblins with their leather and their shield. So yeah, the goblin, the electrical thing, he kind of goes up, but the way his shield's made of wood, as you touch him with your electrified little fingers, it kind of just dissipates.
Oh, shocking, but no grasp.
Yes. Pretty much.
Well said.
Did you want to move anywhere? This goblin is directly in front of you.
I have a feeling he's not going to survive this round, so I'll stay put. I don't want to take an attack of opportunity.
Smart. Oh, and Jeff, if you don't know, if you're within 5 feet of somebody and you don't attack them, you kind of like turn to go the other way, or you go around them. They get what's called an attack of opportunity as you're passing them, even if it's not their turn. They get a chance to attack you.
I can learn that the hard way if I need to.
That's how most people learn it, yeah. Which brings us around to your turn, actually. Ripped. So.
All right. Well, clearly I feel a little shattered with my ego of missing with my family's great axe. So, which goblin am I closest to? The one on the right?
You are closest to the one, now that this one's moved up to Sintaris, you're closest to the one on the right that's in front of Grynar.
I'm going to go after to attack the one that's closest to Sintaris, just because him getting that close to the The
Squishy
guy's not
wizard.
good.
Yo, feeble little wizard.
Yeah. And,
Yeah, go ahead. You can turn around and do your thing.
all right. They roll a 20. And
Oh,
now,
jeez, another crit.
I gotta roll again. I roll the damage thing twice.
So your D20 is at a 20.
I want to get a real dice next time because I don't like this app. This is not.
How do you not
what
like that?
Not what I roll in real life. Many days of risk have proved otherwise.
All right, go ahead and roll 2 D12s.
2 D12s. Here we go.
Good. I'm sitting here like, oh yeah, we're 2 players.
Okay, a 12 and a 1. How awesome is that?
13
Plus 3 slashing damage. So it's at plus 6 slashing damage.
I don't think it matters. You got more than 7.
No, you only double the dice. You don't double the modifier.
Yeah, only double the 1.
Okay, so then 14 total.
14. So yeah, you kind of go ahead. I like letting my players describe how they kill somebody, especially if they doubled the hit points.
So yeah, so the goblin was like sort of mid chuckle that this spell missed him, and then was caught completely by surprise when I guess this axe goes through the back of his neck, and his head just falls off, but his expression of shock is still on his face. And then his body falls over while the blood kind of gushes out of his neck. I would really like Sintaris to actually freeze his neck so I don't get blood on me more than I have
to. Unfortunately, it's not my turn.
It's anytime.
And Sintaris might be a little shocked too as he sees this goblin head plop down at his feet with this shocked look of expression looking up at him.
And then I like to kind of, I feel like my back is to the goblin I moved away from, so I like to make sure I'm facing him frontwards.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, as you're wiping your axe off, you can kind of like whip around, so you're looking back at the one that's face to face with Grynar, whose turn it now is.
Let's see if he really is face to face with my warhammer. 15.
15?
Yeah.
15 is perfect. That's exactly what you're looking for.
For 8 damage.
Nice.
8 damage. Yeah, that'll decimate him. That is all you. How do you crunch this goblin?
I think what it was he had reached out to kind of get me with his scimitar, and I kind of glanced it off my shield, which threw him off balance, and was able to swing kind of upwards as he was leaning forward, and kind of the hammer caught him under the chin and kind of made him jump up in the air a couple feet before falling down.
Okay. And then so he kind of falls down, crumples to the ground, blood spewing from both of these bodies that you've now just completely decimated, and you guys are pretty much goblin slayers. They don't really have anything on them. You can tell that they're just literally wearing the armor. Their only job was to sit here in the thickets and wait for unsuspecting victims to wander towards the cave, as you have done. But they didn't do their job right because you're still alive, and they aren't. So at this point,
like right at the mouth of the cave.
You're right at the mouth of the cave, and I think at this point that would be a good place to take a break. If anyone needs a refill on water, go to the bathroom, anything like that before we go ahead and wander in the cave, and we'll come back. We're doing pretty good. We hit 4 viewers as our height, and we're back at 4 viewers right now. So
nice.
And I suggest we should take a short rest as well, because I've used all my spell slots.
Like a real rest,
yeah. If you guys want to use a short rest outside the cave, and while we're gone, you can roll your hit dice.
Can someone look at the link I posted in the chat too to see if those would be fine for playing? They're like $8 dice in Amazon. I hate using this app because I know I'm getting more 20s and it's not as interesting sometimes.
Oh, dude, that's awesome. That's perfect.
Not complaining at all.
That's a good set there.
We need that.
That's really, and they're all they're all in sets. That's really nice. Yeah, go for that.
All right, I'll be right back.
If anyone's wondering what Jeff's looking at, he's looking at the polyhedral dice on Amazon. So if anyone wants to look at those, but so we're going to take a break, and then we'll come back in about 5 minutes.
All right.
Oh, hello. But 4 people watching right now. Hello, Dave. Dave the DM. There's something about physically rolling is supposed to. I agree. I do like physically rolling dice. I love it. There's much more risk of failure. But we'll let it slide. We're roping Jeff in by letting him roll all these natural 20s.
Right.
He will now forever be hooked on Dungeons and Dragons. Waves. Hi. Yeah, I think 4 has been our height, which this is my first time ever running a channel. This is my first time ever doing a video. This is my first time ever going live. So 4 viewers is very, very higher than I expected because I only expected 1. So, yeah. And thank you to all of you for joining me, too. How are you guys playing?
It's been good. It's interesting. Like I said, I've run this on the DM side. I've run this encounter, so I'm trying not to let myself get spoiled, but it's nice to run it from the player side too.
Yeah, I can never pick one or the other when I prefer DMing or playing because I'll get fixes. Like I'll be like, I need to DM, I need to DM, I need to DM, and then I'll do it for a little while, and then I need to play. I think I need to play now. Which you saw. For those of you watching that don't know, Sean and I lived in the same town for a while. Sean was my DM for a little bit. Running, what were we playing? Out of the Abyss.
Out of the Abyss. Yeah.
Out of the Abyss.
After you had
some good old Demogorgon.
Yeah, you were my DM for a while doing your homebrew, which was nice.
Yes, I love homebrew. Tabletop Dads, actually, we might be running one. I'm working on one. The first adventure for one right now. So if we finish this, we may do some live games in that, kind of play test it. So keep an eye out for that. Yeah, I got some new. I'm working on editing a review for the Dungeons and Dragons board game I got for my birthday. I got Wrath of a Shardalon. And it's a phenomenal game. And it's great because you can play it by yourself. So whenever you're alone and your wife doesn't want to play board games with you, you can play Wrath of a Shardalon. But yeah, I'm working on that. But I got new editing software, and it's really, really intense. It's the same editing software that they used for like the King's Speech. Not the movies that rely on a lot of heavy special effects, but still get edited. That's stuff they use for that. And I have the free version, so obviously I don't have all the fixtures. But yeah, it's complicated, so I'm still learning. That's why the video is taking so long. Barry Medic says D&D is a gateway drug. It is a gateway drug. I started playing 3 or 4 years ago, and it's always on my mind ever since. I always want to play. I'm obsessed with it. It is the greatest role-playing game of all time. Absolutely.
I mean, that is their tagline.
Yes, it is their tagline. And I haven't yet, but I do want to go to GaryCon in, I think it's Wisconsin. Anybody who doesn't know GaryCon, Gary Gygax is one of the creators of Dungeons and Dragons back in the 70s. And they have a con in his honor every year. I think they just had it about a month ago. Let's see. Onwards and upwards from here. Really good start. Thank you, Hawkeye Pierce. Barry Medic and Hawkeye Pierce, they also play with me and Jason in a Roll20 game that Barry Medic runs, a homebrew in his world, and it's phenomenal. It's called the Sweetwater Campaign, and we've only done 2 sessions, and I'm hooked. He's left us with a lot of good cliffhangers, so I'm excited for this coming Friday, so I can get back into that. Okay, Chardonnay is also great for playing with your kids. It is great for playing with your kids. It's got simple rules, which is nice. Like I only had to read through the rule book once, and I had no questions. Explained everything. It's got the miniatures, so they don't have to get distracted by other things. It really simplifies. It's got a lot of the D&D naturals. I like it a lot. What else do we have? Oh, if you guys can't see the chat either, you guys can pull up Sean and Jason, you guys can pull up YouTube and go to the Tabletop Dads page and like pull up the actual video, and it'll have the chat next to it. If you guys want to look at people too. Hawkeye Pierce, after 2 decades, I thought I was out, but then it pulled me back in. Yeah, it does that. It does that. And that's part of the reason that me and Douglas, is the other admin, we started the Tabletop Dads group. Because you guys all know as dads, we don't get all that time that we want to do our things. And that's great. I mean, having kids is great, and we love it. And we're not saying that we don't want to have them so we can play D&D. But we do want some time ourselves every once in a while, and that's why we created Tabletop Dads, because it's able to pull everyone together to talk about any tabletop game, not just D&D. We have guys on there that are heavily into Warhammer 40K. We have Douglas, who's the other admin, is going to run a Shadowrun game, which is kind of like D&D in the future.
Nice.
A lot of good things, and it lets you connect with people. I know Dave said he hasn't played in a while until he hooked up with us on Roll20 to get a campaign going. And that's why we started it, because I like having that community. And I never would have found myself playing with people from Australia and the UK if I didn't have that group. So that's the beauty of D&D. There's something about the phrase "roll for initiative" that still gets the juices flowing. Yeah. That's my favorite. I should get should make a mug that says "roll for initiative." Just dot. That's it.
I like it.
It's cool. You never know what's going to come at you. That's the beautiful thing about DMing. We're still waiting on Jeff. Yeah, still waiting on Jeff. Yeah, we should be able to finish up here with the cave. I don't think it'll take you guys too long, considering you one hit every creature you come across.
Well, goblins aren't exactly
one of us
known
does.
for their constitution.
No, they're not. That's why goblins are pretty much almost always my go-to for a first encounter if I ever create one, because they're fun to fight, but they're not tough.
Yeah. Standard first level D&D enemy.
Yeah, definitely.
Kobolds being the other.
Yeah, kobold. I like kobolds. I always make. I think in one homebrew world I made, the one that you played in, Sean, kobolds were actually slaves of the dwarves. Yeah. And the dwarves used them to mine this volcanic mountain to get all their ores out. So they didn't really fight them much because they were kind of timid and small. But I
think the thing I don't like about kobolds is their pack tactics. So they can get dangerous if you get a group of them together.
Mm.
Yes, they're deadly. You must be more lenient than me as a DM. Yeah, I guess. I don't necessarily enjoy it when a DM goes in almost in a setting that they're playing against the players. I don't like that. They're not. The whole point of a DM isn't to go in there and try and completely kill your party in the first game.
I'm glad you feel that way.
But I'm not gonna sugarcoat it like some DMs. Some DMs will just say, "Well, I don't want my party to die, so maybe I'll only dumb this down a little bit." I'm not gonna dumb anything down. Like, it is purely based on the skill of the player to survive any encounter I put at them. I'm not looking to let them survive. I'm not looking to kill them. And Jeff's back. Welcome back, Jeff.
Hey, guys, give me one more second. I have a little bit of thing going on here.
No, go take time.
No, there's definitely a balance you got to find as a DM, because if you're just trying to kill your players, that's easy. Like, 3 Tarasques drop from the sky. Wow, you're dead. Like, it's really easy to kill your players if you're trying to do that. But yeah, you got to find that balance. Make it tough, make it difficult, but make it fair for them. And yeah, and that's what makes it good.
That's what makes it good. That's why it's the greatest game. I mean, you can do anything you want. It's whatever your imagination can hold is what Dungeons and Dragons will give you. And I don't know if they're going to update it again, because 5th edition's pretty foolproof. And it's been out now for 4 years, 5 years.
When was 5th?
It's been out long enough that they're starting to tweak things, but I don't think they're going to do edition. I just watched a video from the Dungeons and Dragons YouTube channel where the guy was talking about how he's now reconditioned Initiative. He was one of the designers of 5th edition initially, and he's redone Initiative rules so that it's not just roll and that's your order. He kind of took the elements of what it is now and took the elements of first edition where you roll each round for initiative.
Was that the one where it depended on what you were going to do, what your initiative was?
Yeah, so it depended on what you're going to do, because that way it's the way he explained it is like if someone was running towards a door and the way the initiative goes down, well, that guy could make it to the door on his turn and you would have had nothing to be able to stop him. But now he says he's going to go to the door, or you say you're going to go stop him, and then you roll. Whoever gets higher, that's who will go first with their initiative bonuses and all that. So it's a neat system. It's definitely more complicated, but I'm definitely considering trying it if he publishes how he does it.
Yeah, the only thing I didn't like about it was it seemed too complicated. Like one of the really nice things about 5th edition, especially for newcomers, is it's very streamlined. You have 15 skills. You have the 6 attributes. You've got it. It can be good and bad, but you've got limited things your character can do. It's fairly straightforward how you interact with the world, and the more complex you make that, the more it feels like initiative then doesn't fit into the rest of what your character's doing because it's so complex. So it's kind of one of those things that might work better for like an experienced group.
Right. Yeah, as Barry Medic just put it, 5th edition is the game that 1st edition has developed into. The awkward teenage years of 2nd, 3rd, and 4th are over, and now the mature game can go forth. And I think it's very true. Yeah, I never heard anything good about 4th edition or AD&D or anything like that.
4th basically was the edition that no one pays attention. It just kind of like it existed, but no one really plays it.
I think 4th edition was the first one that they released after Wizards of the Coast bought out TSR.
Okay.
Because they bought them in the 90s.
Sounds about right.
And then I didn't know this either. Did you know that Wizards technically doesn't own it either? Because Wizards got bought by Hasbro.
No.
In 1999. Because Wizards had bought Pokemon, the trading card game, and they bought Magic, and then they got bought out.
Do they own all of Pokemon or just the game, card game?
Just the trading card game.
That thing is ridiculous. Like my daughter started getting into Pokemon my wife has Pokemon Go. And I was like, I give her some cards because she likes cards. And I looked at the prices and I was like, oh my God.
Right?
Oh my God, these are crazy.
Like in the 90s, we were going there buying decks for $10. And now you're getting $10 for a little pack of like 5 cards.
And they put them in this huge, like, thick plastic package to make you feel like it's something big, and it's so nice. I was like, no, we're not doing that. I have a tub of Magic cards that you will then look at those instead. And
that's all Pokemon is a knockoff of Magic anyway.
Yep. Sorry, that was.
But there are Pokemon cards. Pokemon cards worth $100,000. First generation Pokemon cards.
Damn, I wish I kept some of those.
I know. I'm sitting there. I guess I watched that video on Facebook and I'm texting my parents like, "Do you still have your Pokemon cards by chance?" Just wondering. Because my mom will get rid of that stuff. Like my first game system was a SNES, a Super Nintendo, playing Mario. The big, I think it was a SNES. Yeah, the big square cartridge of the SNES, right? And then we moved on to the PlayStation 1 and PlayStation 2, and then she sold the SNES and the original Mario Duck Hunt combined game at a yard sale that we had, and I didn't know. And I was devastated because now you can sell those for $100, $150 because they're retro gaming. And I had all the good games. I had the Duck Hunt gun. I had everything.
Yeah.
And I was devastated when she told me that. All right, so everybody back now?
I think we're good.
Yep.
All right, so we will continue to entertain our 3 viewers. But no, thank you so much for tuning in, guys. It really means a lot that people are actually watching. And we'll upload it afterwards, so if you didn't catch it now, you can catch it later. Okay, so we left off. You guys were just outside the cave. You took a short rest. If you didn't, you can roll your hit die to regain hit points if you need them. I don't think Sintaris, I don't think you took any damage.
No, thank goodness.
Rip, you took a little bit, didn't you?
First fight with the scimitar.
So if you want to, there's a section in the top middle of your character sheet that says hit die, and you have 1d10.
You also, as a fighter, a nice thing you have is second wind, which actually recharges after a short rest.
Yeah.
So you can just use that to gain 1d10 plus your fighter level in HP, and then that'll recharge when we're taking our short rest.
And also, you actually, as a fighter, you have the defense fighting style too. So you actually get a +1 to your AC when you're wearing armor.
Which I am.
You better be. As the wizard can tell you, it's not smart to not wear armor.
Just free balling it.
Just. All right. So yeah, if you want to, you can roll 1d10, or you can wait and use second wind. If you roll your hit die, you don't get it back until a long rest. And then what you do, you just roll it, and then whatever that number is plus your Constitution modifier, you can add those hit points back. And then Grynar, you can do the same thing if you want.
Yeah, I'm only down 1, so I'm gonna save it for maybe a more dire moment.
How many am I down?
You took.
I think it was either 3 or 4.
I think you took 3. I don't think they rolled any higher than 3. No, you know what it was? Because I rolled 2 ones, and the only time they hit. So yeah, you took 3.
Do we roll
I would do it. I would use your second wind just because that's basically free right now because you're going to get it back on the short rest.
Yeah, I'll do the second wind.
Okay, so use that, and then you can roll 1d10, and then add 1.
I do not see a 10 here on this app. Is there a way to change it?
Which app are you using?
The Great Dice D&D.
Oh, okay, I have that one. Hold on. I have that one.
D10 on it. Not much of a D&D app if it doesn't.
Yeah.
The dice rolling apps on the phone aren't great.
Yeah, see 12, 20, there's a 7, an 8, and it's a 6.
Oh, okay, see the one that has the 7, 1, and 0 on it?
Yeah.
That's
a 10?
Yeah, the 0 is the 10.
All right.
Yes. I was wondering, it's not the greatest. You probably can't really say that very well.
8.
Not very great.
So I got an 8.
You got an 8 on the dice?
Yeah.
You got a 9 because you can add 1 to that, your fighter level. So you gain 9 hit points back, but you're pretty much a full health.
Sweet.
All right. Everybody set? You guys set up camp for a couple hours. Just kind of lay there, relax, read some books, fiddle some spells, clean your axe.
Oh, yeah.
And if you want, you guys can, I don't know what you want to do. You want to make your way into the cave? I don't know how you want to do it. Your marching order, whatever you want to do.
Yeah, I should have dark vision, so I'm going to try and see as much as I can without going in. Even though it's dark, I should be able to at least see.
Yeah, this part is still fairly light because it's still mid afternoon. You probably rested for about an hour, so you're probably looking about 3, 4 o'clock. So the sun is still coming in the tunnel, so you can still see in the cave mouth itself and a little ways in. What you would be able to see, Grynar, if you're going in first, is just inside that cave mouth. You can see a few uneven stone steps that lead up to a small kind of dank chamber on the east side of the passage. So just as you walk into the east, you see those steps going up. And then at the end of that, if you guys are following him, do you guys want to go in with him or just kind of let him around? Because you two don't have dark vision.
Oh, the elf should.
Oh, yeah, you're an elf. No, you're a human.
Yes, I'll go with him.
You're a defective elf.
Before we start moving, I turn to Ripped and ask, I do have the ability to cast a spell that will make one of your objects, whether it's your armor or maybe your sword or something, glow with light, and it'll make it a little harder to sneak with this effective torch around us, but it might be easier for you to see something.
Sure, I can put on the javelin.
Yeah.
So then I would go over and touch the javelin and whisper something, and then it lights up. I'll cast the light cantrip.
Nice.
So that's a bright light for 20 feet and then dim light for an additional 20 feet.
Okay. So essentially now you all have dark vision. You, Ripped, everyone can see in color right now because there's still light coming in. As you get in, it gets darker. Sintaris and Grynar, you're only going to be able to see black and white images, kind of your colorblind essentially with your dark vision. But it'll kind of cancel out because of the light emitting off of Rip's javelin. So as you come up, and all three of you come up into this passage on the east, it's dank, it smells, and you can see as you climb up the stairs at the end of the chamber, there's a steep little fissure at the far end, like a little crack running up the wall. And you can hear like these savage little snarls and these wolf howls and everything that kind of greet your ears, and the rattling of chains. As you walk in, you can see 3 wolves pinned up just inside the opening. Their chains kind of stuck into a iron rod on the stalagmite that's pulling up from the ground.
Are these wolves alive?
Oh, they're all alive. And as they see you coming in, they kind of look up and start to snarl at you, and they kind of run up and towards you, but they're kind of stuck on their little chains there, and they kind of pull up and get pulled back by the chain as they get to the end of it.
You said there were 3 of them?
3. Yep, 3 wolves.
Is charisma affected against animals, or no?
Charisma is not there. The wolves don't really understand any languages anyway.
I think it would be animal handling that you would use.
Yeah, if you want to try and tame them, you can use your.
Yeah, would a wolf have any interest in like a ration that it would have, trying to like toss them some food to make it easier to get by, or kind of like buy their patience with us?
Yeah, I mean, you can try it. If you want to throw some food.
Yeah, so I'll kind of reach into my bag and pull out basically a day's ration and kind of approach calmly and try and toss it towards the wolf, hoping to calm it down.
Okay. So you throw it in there, it kind of goes and sniffs at it, but it's still growling at you before it doesn't take a bite yet. Who said animal handling? Sintaris, was that you?
Yes.
You were gonna try and handle the animal?
No, I'm not going anywhere near these things.
I'm gonna give it a whirl.
Okay, go ahead and roll a d20 and add in your animal handling skill.
Just one of them, not all 3, right? Or is it all 3?
That's up to you.
All right. $18 plus 1.
You got it.
19.
So,
but now what I roll? Like what's like what?
Oh, you're good. You've done it. You were just looking to pretty much beat a 15. So you go ahead and describe how you tame these savage beasts.
Why I looked them square in the eye, and I was able to see deep in their wolven souls, and communicate that we would be better masters than their current ones, where they wouldn't have to be so aggressive and long for food, and we would give them a better life. And I reach out my hand, kind of like stroke all their heads and their ears, and they become friendly. And I'm not sure if we want to unchain them or not, or hold on to their. Yeah, probably let's unchain them. That was fucking awesome.
Unchain the wolves?
Yeah.
Okay. Roll me a...
friendly enough to, like, can we bring them along and have them fight with us? Or are they just, like, basically friendly enough to not kill us?
Right now, they kind of look friendly enough to not kill you. Like, they're not concerned with you anymore. They just kind of, now they're pulling that food that you threw down, Grynar, and they're kind of pulling it back towards their stalagmite that they're stuck into, and they're just kind of eating at it. They don't pay you any mind anymore. And that was a good description, Jeff. You're pretty good at the role playing, I will admit, for a first-time player.
All right, thank you.
All I can picture, we all have kids, so I know you've all probably seen Finding Dory.
Yeah.
All I can picture was looking into the eye like he did with that friggin' bird.
Yeah.
Uru, Becky, Uru. All right. Dumb moment over. All right. So you've tamed the animals. They don't pay you any mind anymore. So you guys can kind of roam about the chamber, if you'd like, freely.
Yeah, so I turned and I said we should probably just get their chains out of here and let them run. I'd rather, even though they're tame now, that may change. Wolves wolves can get hungry and they may look at us as a good meal later on. I'd rather just have them not in the cave at all.
Okay, so if you want to roll a athletics, like a strength check, you can attempt to pop their iron rods out.
So it was athletics. 11 total.
11. All right, so you go up there and you kind of. All right,
Yeah.
so you go up and you kind of grab on and you pull, and it doesn't pop out right away. You can see it kind of wiggle, but you can't physically get it yanked out. So they're still stuck. They just kind of look at you as you pull and go back to eating whatever they're eating. Anyone else attempting?
Strength is not my forte, so if the dwarf can't do it, I don't think I can either.
All right, so Ripped, if you want to go up and you can help him if you want to.
Yeah.
If you want try and give a pull, you can roll with advantage since you're both rolling you're both attempting to.
3.
Roll another one. You can roll 2d20s with advantage, or 1d20. Yeah, never mind.
17. That's way better.
It's better. All right, and then add in your athletics.
Athletics, 5, so 22.
20 fine. So you both kind of grab on, and Grynar's still got his hands on, and you wrap yourself around Grynar, and you both just yank, and all three of these rods, or all three of the chains that are pulled to this one rod just pop out, and the wolves kind of sit there and look for a second, and then they take off out of the cave.
Yeah, as they're going, as I look out as far as I can see, probably about 30 feet away in the trees, and cast thaumaturgy and make kind of a sound of a wounded rabbit out there. Hopefully, just giving them something to chase that they'll think they're trying to chase some food and just not come back.
Yeah. So as they get out of the cave, you can still see them as they're running their springtails, and they stop. They perk up with their ears and they kind of look over, and then they take off to the left towards wherever that rabbit sound just came from, and then they are gone out of sight. And everybody, you can all take a point of inspiration because that was a great workaround to attempting to kill them. Jeff, point of inspiration, and anybody else watching doesn't know. Point of inspiration that you can use to re-roll any roll that you want, but you have to decide you're going to use it before you roll. So say you're going to go in and attack something and you don't think you're going to roll very well, it's like, I'm going to use inspiration, and you'll get to re-roll the dice and take the high roll.
Is it a mandatory re-roll or an option to re-roll once you declare it?
Once you declare it, you have to do it. So make sure you know you want to use it, and you can only have one inspiration at a time.
So if you roll 20 the first time, you have to re-roll.
One that you're going to use. So basically, it lets you get advantage on a roll to roll 2 and take the higher one.
Okay.
Yeah. I thought you meant can you decide not to use it once you roll? No. Yeah. So yeah, everybody take
can use it to cancel out disadvantage. So if you have disadvantage on something and you really want to succeed, you can use inspiration, and then it'll just be rolling a single dice instead of rolling 2 and taking the lower.
Yeah.
Awesome.
All right. So you guys move in. You can look around the cave a little bit, and that fissure that you saw at the end, that little crack in the wall, there's just piles of rubbish kind of sitting at the bottom, garbage, discarded food, bones, things like that. There's a little chimney. It's fallen like debris, I guess, almost. The base of the shaft there. It looks kind of uneven. But other than that, you don't really see much inside of this place. The only other way out is the way you came in. And the way you came in, and you look to the left, there's the cave mouth, the stream running up, and you look to your right, there's the a stone or a kind of stone path kind of going along the right side of the stream inside the cave.
I think I look around and then look at the stream and say, well, this stream's got to come from somewhere. We might as well follow it.
Agreed.
Is there anything in the stream?
Water.
Okay.
About it. No, nothing yet.
Nothing tainted?
No, nothing tainted. No blood flowing down from the top or anything like that.
Not yet.
Not yet. You guys can fix that. No, but as you come out, No, the gnarling you don't really hear. They're gone. They chase their imaginary rabbit. Their white rabbit. But as you turn the corner to the right, it suddenly gets a lot darker. The only light emitting right now is coming from the light emitting from the javelin on Rip's back. The main passage, it kind of climbs steeply up. The stream's kind of plunging and splashing down to your left. And in the shadows, you can see a side passage just across the stream on the other side. And then you characters with dark vision, you would be able to see this. Ripped, you wouldn't be able to see it. But in the shadows of the ceiling on the north that you see ahead of you, you can make out kind of the dim shape of a rickety-looking bridge that kind of crosses over the stream made of wood and roped. It kind of goes above the passage ahead of you. And another passage intersects it about 20 feet above the floor. Like I said, passage across the stream, just across from you to your left, and then straight ahead, you can kind of make out the shapes of the bridge there a little bit.
Shall we proceed to the bridge?
Yeah, I think we just kind of keep an eye out, knowing that what he said, there's 20 goblins, and we've killed 2, so there's 18 left somewhere in this cave. So it's kind of cautious, knowing that there's easily another trap somewhere, and just moving forward.
Is the bridge is the only way we can go?
No, you can cross the stream if you want to. Attempt to cross it and go to that passage to the left.
That may make noise, though.
Is the bridge chained with wood, or is it like solid rocks, like a stone bridge?
No, it's a rickety wood, probably made of wood rope.
How lucky do you feel today?
I'm fine. How lucky do you feel?
So what does this
weigh that
passage on
much.
the left look like?
The passage on the left?
Yeah.
The passage on the left that you're looking at, it's in shadows. You can't really see that far into it, but you can tell that it leads a little up. It looks like it kind of ascends a little bit as you get in there. But you can't see much past that. So what is our consensus here?
Not fond of bridges, from what I've heard from relatives. Bridges in dark caves don't seem like a good idea. Especially with trap-laying goblins.
Hmm.
Yeah, I guess
Good
I'd
point.
feel better following the passage on the left instead of going up and under the bridge, because who knows what may come down from us on the bridge.
Okay. All right, so your guys are pretty equal. You're not moving forward or anything, or you're just kind of going to the left?
Yep, I'm happy with that.
Okay. All right.
Your reasoning regarding the bridge is sound.
All right, so the stream's it's not flowing very fast. It's pretty easy for you guys to cross over there. As you get in there, you get into that passage, you can notice that there's a lot of rubble on the ground, almost not so much a rock slide, but kind of a rock slide. It's a fragile ledge that you see kind of put up there on the escarpment. It looks fairly climbable. Definitely probably a lot harder if you have some weight. Dwarf.
So like it'd be tough, but I could still get up it.
Yeah, it might take you a couple tries. I mean, if you guys want to attempt to climb it, you can.
I'm up for it.
All right,
Yep,
so
let's
Sean,
give
you
it a
want to climb first? Everybody roll me a dexterity. Athletics. No, sorry, acrobatics.
Acrobatics.
4. I don't think I'm making it up here.
4.
22.
10.
Ooh, okay, so
Is it athletics or acrobatics?
acrobatics.
Am I trying to do a flip on this sledge, or am I...
Yeah, you're trying to scramble up pretty much.
So 10.
10, okay. So Sintaris and Ripped, you guys kind of scurry up this thing. Your weapons aren't that heavy. Your great axe kind of weighs you down a little bit, but you're able to compensate for it as you scramble up. And then Grynar, you kind of go up behind him and you attempt to also climb up the ledge, but you've got your shield, you've got your warhammer, and you've got all this stuff hanging up your pack. You make a lot of noise. You're a dwarf. You're not trying to hide from anybody. So you kind of get halfway up and then you slip down and oh my god. I'm so sorry. You take 9 bludgeoning damage as you go tumbling back down this hill as you fix. Oh, yeah. It's 2d6. I promise. It says 2d6 to roll, and that's
All right.
Good thing you didn't use your hit die.
Yeah, so as I land and get bludgeoned, what I do is I kind of mutter under my breath and put my hand on my chest and cast Cure Wounds. So I'll get 1d8 plus my spell modifier. So that's my spell modifier is 3. So 7 hit points back.
Okay.
And I get up and, again, muttering under my breath, go back to look at this passage and see maybe if I can get one of my party members to assist me so I don't happen to have this happen again.
Hint, hint.
Yeah, I'll reach my hand out for Grynar to grab it as he's trying to clamber up.
And a beardy medic says, never apologize for the dice in the chat. I wasn't apologizing. I was just saying that's sorry how embarrassing it is that he fell down a hill. In a cave on his home turf.
Taken 10 damage so far. All 10 of it is from falling.
The earth is not kind to you.
How ironic is that?
Imagine if you were taller, it'd hurt more.
All right, so yeah, you managed to pull him up, get him slid up on the little ledge that you guys are on. So you kind of move forward a little more careful this time as you scramble up. The footing gets a little more sure as you continue to climb. And then as you come into a little a divot, or not divot, a separation. You can either go left or right. Just to the left, you can definitely see there's an opening in the room there. It's a large cave. It's kind of divided in half by a 10-foot high escarpment. And a steep, this natural staircase leads from the lower portion all the way up to the upper ledge. It's kind of hazy with the smoke of what you can assume is a cooking fire. And this pungent odor kind of greets your nostrils from the smell of poorly cured hides and unwashed goblins.
Ugh.
Do we see any of these unwashed goblins?
I don't know. Why don't you perceptify for me?
Unwashed goblins next to a stream?
It just goes there. Doesn't mean they have to use it.
Yeah.
I got an 8 on my perception.
8. You can see there's a few goblins tending to the cooking fire there on the lower portion of the room, kind of huddled around there. They got the spewed whatever they got on there, probably some cave rat or something. So other than that,
I think stealthy may be the way to go again. Hopefully we do better than last time. We might be able to surprise them at least.
Yeah, I agree. Surprise may be the best option to get the upper hand on them.
And there's 18 of them?
Not in here. In here you can only see 5 around the fire.
Okay.
Stealth checks?
You read my mind.
Eight.
All right.
19.
7.
All right, so you all pretty sneakily get into the room, and it opens up. You can see that they've been living here. This is probably their main quarters. cooking fire. There's stacks of dead meat and uncured hides and all this stuff laying around. This odor just fills your nose, but they don't notice you as you sneak in and probably get a good 20, 25 feet away from them. If you want to, you can take a surprise action.
Can I?
I don't know. You can choose. You can choose because as soon as one of you does it, they're probably going to notice.
Okay. Can I? Or will we have time to like run up and attack, or would we have to do something ranged?
If you run up and attack, you probably have to roll another stealth move because you guys are probably pretty loud, especially the heavy-footed dwarf.
Can I throw a javelin to start this off?
Yeah, go for it. Go ahead and roll.
All right.
Can we time it at the same time so I can kind of cast Sacred Flame at the same time as he's throwing the javelin?
Absolutely. I like it.
Sweet. Does Sacred Flame instantly appear at the target's location, or does it travel?
Flame-like radiance descends on a creature, so it kind of would come through the ceiling a little bit.
I forgot about the description.
All right, let's check out this javelin. Ooh, 17.
Oh, that'll do it. That'll do it. Now you've probably got
+5 attack bonus.
2 of them facing you.
Yeah. So it's a 6 plus armor piercing. And it's a 2 plus 5 attack bonus. That's a 7. Is that how that works?
Oh, you rolled with advantage for your javelin?
No. I rolled a 2, but then is it a +5 attack bonus? It makes it a 7?
The attack bonus is on your attack roll, so when you're rolling the d20 to attack, that's where you add the +5.
Okay,
the
so that
was
was
the d6 plus the 3 for your damage.
Okay, so the first one then was a 22, and this one is now a 5. The attack damage is a 5.
Okay, attack damage is a 5. Oh, so 2 plus. Okay, so yeah, you this javelin comes flying through, and it sticks into the kidney portion of one of these goblins that's sitting around the flame, and it starts to turn its head around because it screams because it just got stuck.
And it's still glowing by the way.
Yes, as this light emerges from the front of it, looking down, it's like, what?
As I saw the javelin start moving is when I cast Sacred Flame at the one probably on the right or the left, whichever one he wasn't attacking, kind of spreading it out.
Okay.
So he has to make a dex save.
Yes. A 5.
Okay, so he will take 1d8 radiant damage. 8, nice. He takes 8 radiant.
Okay.
So he did.
So as everyone's focused on this light that suddenly emerges from this goblin's stomach via javelin, nobody notices this ball of flame come and just consume the goblin to its right and completely just cook it up. And it just falls into a pile of ash. And everybody can roll for initiative.
15.
15 for Grynar.
15 for me too.
And 15 for Sintaris.
13.
13 for Rich. Okay. When we get to you guys, Grynar and Sintaris, you guys can choose who wants to go first. And then we'll stick with that for the rest of the initiative. And now, the rest of the goblins, they get up and they pull out their bow. They all pull out their bows. One of them goes to take a shot at you, Grynar, because it can still see the flame spell kind of dissipating from the ceiling, and it kind of assumes, looking at your symbol, that it came from you.
Good assumption.
So he can throw his bow at you for 12, so I assume it probably doesn't hit.
No, I have 18 AC.
No. So yeah, it's still being a little shocked. It kind of, it does its little orcish Lord of the Rings kind of like waddles sideways and lets the bow go, and the arrow just kind of whittles past you, clips it off the stone. And then another one kind of, it pops up and attempts to do the same thing, kind of following its buddy's lead. And natural 20.
Oh, this could hurt.
Ouch.
No, it's not that bad. You only, the bow is only like 2d4 of damage, so it's okay.
still, I only have 7 HP.
This is true, and I had not thought of that. All right.
Reroll.
Oh, God, okay. One of my dice got stuck in my makeshift dice tower. 7 damage.
Oh,
That is enough to knock me unconscious.
Oh, no. But that's okay. I don't care.
we're screwed.
So yeah, so this last arrow, you're kind of like took it sideways, kind of below his last arrow comes. This next one comes and sinks itself just to the right of your heart, and you kind of start to spit a little blood kind of spewing out of your mouth as you kind of crumple over unconscious from bleeding out a little bit. That still leaves us with 2 goblins left to go because one of them died. The next one kind of sees him crumple over it. It decides that it's going to pop a shot off at Ripped here because it can see the javelins in its back, and it kind of knows, well, that just killed my buddy, so probably a good place to start. So it's going to pop off another shot at you. And a 9, so it's gonna miss. The arrow's gonna sink just past you as you quickly turn your head to look at Grynar. The arrow just kind of whizzes past you and hits the rock behind you. And last goblin thinks you're feeling a little left out there, Sintaris, but doesn't care because he wants to kill whoever javelined his friend. So he's gonna take another shot at Ripped as well. And that's going to be a 14. So this arrow also just kind of whizzes over your head. They're not very accurate, your goblins, and misses you. So that will be them, and that'll bring us to Sintaris or Grynar, whichever one of you guys wants to go first.
Well, I'll go and roll my death save, I guess.
Do it.
18, nice success.
Success. All right, so you got 1 success. You said a 19 that you rolled?
18.
Oh, I was going to say. Oh, and then, Jeff, in case you know, when you go unconscious and you have enough hit points to take it 0, you don't die. You have to roll the d20, and if you get 10 or better, you get a success, and you can have 1 check mark. If you get 3 successes, you stand back up with like 1 hit point, I think. If you get a natural 20, you get a hit point back. If you get a natural 1, that counts as if you die right away, I think.
Natural 1 is 2 failures.
2
yeah,
failures.
so yeah, 9 or below is 2 failures. 9 or below is 1 failure. Natural 1 is a 2 failures. 10 or above is a success. Natural 20, you stand up with 1. If you get 3 successes, you stabilize so you don't bleed out, but then you wake up in 1d4 hours.
Yep.
Nice. And it takes 3 turns to roll those.
If you do all successes, yeah.
Yeah, okay. And if someone is bleeding out, you can stabilize. You can like use your action to do a medicine check to stabilize them, and if you succeed, then they're automatically stable. Usually in combat, it's better to just kill stuff than take that time to do healing spells.
Gotcha.
All right, so yeah, Grynar rolled a success. That takes us to Sintaris. You've just watched your friendly cleric dwarf there drop with an arrow to his chest cavity, and a couple more shots popped off at Ripped.
Okay, so there's only 2 left in the room that we can see?
4.
4, okay. Sleep it is,
Yeah,
then.
I like it.
All right, go for it.
28.
Okay, you can put them all to sleep.
Sweet. Nighty night, boys.
And so as you, they all get ready to pull another arrow out, they all just kind of start fading off and kind of trying to shake it off as much as they can. And they all just slump over, arrows and bows kind of falling all over the place. And then the one that you already stuck with a javelin, it kind of falls backwards, and the javelin pushes farther into its stomach, and you hear it kind of cough as it dies.
Nice. I was going to ask if I could take my javelin out and not wake him up.
You won't now.
Yeah.
So yeah, we can take that out. I don't know what you guys want to do. That'll Sintaris' turn. So Ripped, you can.
I'm gonna now use my medicine roll on my fallen dwarf here.
You must check, yeah. So go ahead and roll that, and we'll see if you can stabilize it. I don't know what the DC would be for that.
I think it's just DC 10.
Yeah, that's the average
15
one. So
plus
we'll go with
1,
that.
16.
All right, so you can stabilize your friendly neighborhood cleric.
Nice.
And I rolled a 1 on the D4, so I would wake up in 1 hour then.
1 hour. Ouch.
Yeah.
So yeah,
Well, I don't think
you
we have
guys
any
can.
choice but to take a short rest anyway.
Yeah, I mean, if
were
you,
these goblin? How long do they sleep for?
10 rounds, so an hour.
Yeah, so we better kill them first.
Yeah, they're asleep for a minute.
All right, so as you move forward towards the goblins, roll me a perception.
Whoops.
14.
14, okay. Sintaris.
6.
Surprisingly, good enough. What you see as
That
you
is
approach these goblins is you hear from that ledge up to your left. It's now coming into view. You hear footsteps and it's kind of a dragging noise, kind of that that being dragged through the gravel. And this goblin, a little bulkier than the other ones, drags this human with him and starts to hold him towards the ledge and kind of shouts down. He goes, "Truce, or this human dies." And he kind of pushes the human out a little more. And Ripped, you would recognize right away from when you left Neverwinter. This is Sildar. This is the warrior that left with Gundren ahead of you.
How is he going to kill the human?
From what you can see, it looks like he tends to drop him off the ledge. And then you can look at Sildar. He's pretty beat up. He's not in good shape.
Uh-huh. Does he require being held up to stay on the ledge?
Is Sildar or the goblin?
So the goblin, is he holding Sildar up? So if he gets pierced by a javelin, will he let go? And
yeah, it looks like it might. If you hit him the wrong way, he might drop him, and Sildar will kind of slump over and ragdoll down.
how far is this ledge?
The ledge is probably a good 15 feet. And I mean, if he was conscious, Grynar could tell you that even 10 feet hurts. So,
But he's not.
but he's not.
Well, I'm going to put up my hands and say, wait, in Goblin, because I speak Goblin.
That's pretty cool.
He kind of looks at you shocked for a minute, like wondering, like, the elf speaks Goblin, but okay. And he goes, "You seem to have done quite a number here. I have a bargain to strike with you." And he kind of holds the collar a little tighter for Sildar and looks at you and goes, as much as my esteemed figure might tell you, I do not actually lead the goblins. There's a ugly piece of crap named Clark. I don't like Clark, and I don't want to see Clark in charge anymore. And I'll strike you a bargain. You kill Clark, allowing me to take control of Cragmaw Hideout. You can have your friend back.
Do you have both or just the one?
Both. This is the only one that was brought to me.
Well, if you want to be leader, then we want both. Otherwise,
there is no both. There's just this one.
Do you know if Clark has the other one?
Good lord, these humanoids. There is no other one.
Alrighty. Okay, we accept your terms. We agree.
Right. And he goes,
Anything else now?
I suppose I should probably point you in the right direction.
Well, I have a possible request.
I don't think
goblins?
you're quite in the position to make request, friend.
If you want to be a leader, we have something to give you that you really want. So, are the goblins asleep when they wake up? Do they want to? Are they with you, or are they going to be loyal to Clark?
Goblins are loyal to goblins, but we did not have enough to stand up to Clark. You'll understand why when you see him.
Okay, so if we were to stay here for an hour, and then these goblins wake up, can you promise they're not going to attack us so we can get our friend up too?
You have my word as a goblin. And he takes his other hand and kind of puts it on his chest.
What do you think?
Well, he's right. We're not much in a position to make unfair demands or unreasonable demands.
It's 2-1. There's 2 conscious people against 1 conscious person.
And as you do this, you kind of see Sildar's head kind of creak a little bit, and he kind of yells out, Don't trust the goblin. Don't trust goblins. And he kind of nods off again. And then Yimik, the goblin, his name's Yimik, okay, I told you that. Shakes and goes, no, it's shut. Him for Clark. And he kind of pushes him a little farther to the ledge.
Do you have like a levitate spell that would catch him if he was to fall?
I have a feeling, though, that if he does get pushed over, he'll, inevitably drop to 0 hit points. But we could probably stabilize him, just as we have with Grynar.
I say we don't trust him.
Yeah, that sounds pretty reasonable. I'm ready to move if you are.
Yeah. Do you want to cast any spells first, or wait for me to throw a spear and then react to that?
What I'll do is I'll cast Ray of Frost.
Okay.
All right. Go ahead and roll. We'll keep the same initiative order. I'll roll a new one for Yimik, I guess. My natural 1 for the day.
So I make my spell attack roll?
Yeah, so go ahead. We'll have you go, and then...
Nice. Rolled a natural 20.
Nice.
So... Wait a minute. Sorry, I'm being challenged with my dice here. Ugh. 5. Even on a crit.
5. All right, so
yeah.
Yimik, he sees your frost going up. He goes, so that's the way it is then. And he drops Sildar, and Sildar comes tumbling down the hill there. He kind of takes a breeze. You hear a crunch every once in a while as he falls, and he's clearly unconscious as he hits the bottom.
You rolled 5 on a 2d8. That's rough.
Yeah, I know.
I didn't want to say anything. And then as you do that, the ray just kind of emits from your hand and hits Yimik square in the chest, and you can see like the freezer burn almost on his chest as he takes the damage from it. You said 5 that you hit, right?
Yes, that's right.
I knew. I just wanted to hear you say that you rolled 5 on 2d8s.
Yes, I admit it. I rolled 5 on 2d8.
All right, so that'll bring us to Ripped.
Okay. Was there any way I could actually try to catch the guy that was falling before he hit the ground?
He's already hit the bottom.
Okay.
He fell pretty fast. But if you want to, you can try and stabilize him before he dies.
No, we had the other guy still alive, right?
Yimik, yeah, the goblin at the top is still alive.
All right, so we're gonna try and throw my javelin at him.
Okay.
Finish him off.
Let's hope.
Yeah. 16 plus 5, so 21.
That'll hit.
And the d6.
Please roll better than I did.
A 6 plus 3.
That's certainly better.
That's 9. That does it. So.
And it only took you 1 dice to do it.
We'll see when I get a real dice how lucky this works.
So Yimik kind of recovers from getting hit with the ray of frost in his chest, and the javelin follows very quickly and just sinks itself into his gut, and he kind of goes wide-eyed for a minute as he too just slumps forward off of the escarpment ledge there, dead before he even hits the ground.
Does he hit the ground or does he hit the other guy?
No, he hits the ground. Yeah, he was a little to the left after getting staggered, so he's good.
I think I'll spear back and clean it off, please.
Yeah,
well, before you do that,
it
okay, I'll go stabilize Sildar. I suggest you dispatch the sleeping goblins.
Yes. All right, that sounds better. Do I have to roll attack rolls for this, or am I just killing them?
Yeah, you would have to roll it. So you're gonna kill one at a time right now. So, but we're still in initiative, so we'll do Sintaris first.
Okay.
Okay, so I'll do a medicine check on Sildar. $20.
Oh yeah, you stabilize him, and he kind of comes to a little bit and goes, very wise decision, and thank you very much, friend.
You're welcome. Just have a rest.
I couldn't agree more. All right, so that'll take us to Ripped if you want to try and murder some more goblins, because that's what you do.
Oh, yeah.
Splatter some goblins.
Okay, so I take my great axe here. And it's an 11 plus a 5. It's 16.
16. That'll hit.
They're sleeping.
You should be, if these goblins are asleep, you should be rolling.
They're rolling with
advantage too, yeah.
Yeah.
And I think since it's unconscious, isn't it an auto crit?
Ooh, that I don't know.
I think it is.
Good question. I think it is.
Yeah, unconscious. If you're within 5 feet, it's an auto crit on an unconscious creature.
All right, so yeah, go ahead and roll double damage. That is a good catch.
Right.
I guess you never really think of sleeping.
16.
That's what it is.
16 on that guy. Now, does that wake the other one up, or is it like the sleeping spell just keeps him?
No, the other two, they'll stay asleep because they haven't taken any damage.
Okay, so that one's 16, and it chopped off his head, and it rolls into the stream.
Unfortunately, the stream isn't in this room, but I like your description. I like where you're going.
It rolls toward the stream.
The stream of blood.
And it creates a new stream.
All the other goblins are confused. His head has been rolling for 30 feet towards the stream, rounding corners. And
The Happy Gilmore of axe decapitation.
all right, so that's one down. 2 more to go. Sildar's, he's a little bit better. So Sintaris, you can stay with him, or you can murder a goblin.
I'll just cast another ray of frost from where I am at whatever the nearest goblin is.
All right, roll me some crit damage.
Alrighty. Let's hope I do better this time.
Beardy Medic says the only good goblin is a mildly confused goblin. I agree. I mean, they're naturally pretty confusable, but
I only got 7 this time.
only got 7. That is enough to fell
Yep.
the goblin. So you can go ahead and describe how you kill it. You kill a sleeping goblin.
Just casually lift my hand as the blue ray of frost tips and turns the goblin into a rectangular cube.
Wow.
Nice. And now there's a goblin sickle sitting there.
Yep.
And Ripped, if you want to go ahead and attempt to kill the next one. One more sit
Last
there.
one, right?
Yeah, one more sit there.
Okay. A 20. I don't have to roll that, actually. You're sleeping, so right? Let's go with attack right away.
Yeah. Just roll the double damage, so 2d12s.
17 plus 3, so 20. Jeez, this is tough. I'm trying to think what else to do.
No, you don't have to get that great. You can just decapitate it again if you want. If you're having fun decapitating, just keep decapitating.
Quick decapitations to make it easy.
All right, so now, all these ones are get dead. So we're out at initiative. So whatever you guys want to do from here.
Well, I'm still unconscious for another hour or so.
Yes, I think we should make Sildar and Grynar as comfortable as possible while we rest here.
Yeah, that sounds good.
Okay, so you guys want to do like just a short rest? It's an hour.
Yeah, I think that's probably all we can afford to take, given that we're in a goblin lair.
Okay, so if you want to go ahead and do a quick short rest, recover whatever you need to. Use a hit die if you need to recover any points. Grynar, you're now conscious at the end of this.
All right.
Conscious and standing. So if you want to use your hit die.
I think I kind of like gasp awake as they at the end of the hour, and look around and kind of look and see the bodies, or at least what's left of the bodies. Thank you for taking care of that. That arrow took me by surprise.
Do these goblins have anything more on them besides their weapons and armor?
These ones, you don't see the fair goblin. The Emic, if you look at his body, the goblin leader, he has a little pouch on his belt that has 3 gold teeth in it. They're worth about 1 gold piece each. And he also has 15 silver pieces in there.
Cool.
Nice.
How's Sildar doing?
Sildar is a little more stable, so he's kind of coming to, and he's not fully himself, but he's definitely better. He says, "Thank you. It all happened so fast. I don't know how I got here. We were riding, and all of a sudden the arrows, they just ambushed us, and I don't know."
You know where you're... Do you have any idea, like, were you brought in together? Like, were you brought here together with you and...
I think so, but Gundren was taken somewhere else. I don't know if he's here or not.
Do you know where the goblins might have stashed your equipment?
I wish I knew. I feel naked without my sword.
Well, it is nonsensical for me to have this implement while you remain weaponless, so you may borrow my short sword.
Oh, that's very kind. I will make sure to return it to you. You didn't happen to find a map, did you?
No, we saw an app case where your horses were, but no map within it.
He kind of coughs a little bit, kind of regaining himself. Just, oh, yes, I feared that they took the map. Gundren had a map showing the secret location of Wave Echo Cave. Him and his brothers had found Wave Echo Cave, the site of the mines of the Phandelver Pact. And I fear that they might have taken it, the goblins. And I believe Clark, the head of this hideout has sent the map, and possibly Gundren, if that's the case, to Cragmaw Castle. I do have a friend in Phandelver, might know where that is. A wizard, Iarno Alberg. But I think first things first is we need to get out of this cave.
Agreed. Now, I'm guessing that Sildar's not wearing any armor. Is that accurate?
Yeah, he has no armor on.
Okay, I'm going to cast Mage Armor on Sildar.
Nice. What does that give him?
It gives him 13 plus his Dexterity modifier.
So 13. He has no dex.
No, okay.
All right.
That's better than nothing.
So he keeps telling you he keeps mentioning Phandelver, knowing that he needs to get there. He wants to get there as soon as he possibly does. He keeps telling you Phandelver is where we need to go. I can get us help in Phandelver, but I know Clark. I know he has orders to waylay Gundren. Someone named the Black Spider has sent word that the dwarf was to be brought to him. I don't know what the Black Spider is, but it doesn't sound good.
You want to roll them? I'll tell you which one to roll.
And so, are you suggesting that we should proceed?
Yeah, he definitely goes, yeah, Phandelver. I will give you 50 gold to escort me to Phandelver.
Are you suggesting that we should proceed to Phandelver before we find Clark?
Phandelver is definitely my object of interest, but Clark may have information on this Black Spider and perhaps where Gundren is.
Do you feel well enough to accompany us while we search for Clark? If we agree to escort you to Phandelver immediately after?
I think you strike a fair bargain, and I do feel a little better with some steel in my hands, so yes, I'll accompany you.
Great. We could use another sword.
All right, so you all sit up, and you're still sitting there, this part of the cave. This seems, I think, a cliffhanger looking for Clark. I think this is a good place to end. Make you wonder.
Yeah, agreed.
All right.
So you're going to set up camp. You're kind of going to confiscate the goblins' campfire. Stay there for a little bit. Make sure everybody comes back to full health before you set out in the morning there in search of Clark.
Are we going to be able to take a long rest, or is it a little too dangerous an area to do that?
If you if anybody wants to roll like a survival check, you can look around and see if there's some kind of way you can secure, because there's only one entrance to the room. If you want to roll a survival check, you can kind of see if there's any way that you can secure the room a little bit. If you can't, then you can just set up watches.
Okay. Yeah, I mean, I look around because being down spells, and I've used my hit dice, and I'm pretty low on stuff. So I kind of look around and suggest, we can kind of get a night's rest here, secure it, get a night's rest here, and wait. Then we may be able to be a lot more prepared.
Agreed.
Okay. So we can do, obviously the watch and stuff we'll take care of next session, but do you guys have a watch order that you want to do? Who wants to take it first? Sintaris, you're an elf, so you don't really have to sleep. You can just meditate.
Yeah, I'll take first watch.
I'll do second, because people need to recover.
Okay. And then Sildar does offer, he goes, I may not be of much use as an old man, but I'll take a watch. The guy offers to go after Ripped.
Okay, I'll take the last watch then.
Okay. All right, so our party will rest up in their room of butcherment. It smells of dead goblin and all over the place.
Not much worse than a live goblin, really.
No goblin is a good goblin, but a dead goblin is a better goblin. Yep. No, I think that's a good place to end. I think that'll leave a lot. I do want to play again, so anybody watching, I do want to get this played again. These guys are great to play with. I do enjoy playing with them a lot. So hopefully we can get another session looked around, and I'll definitely let you guys know with a Facebook post when that's going to be. But keep an eye out. So yeah, this is. I hope everyone's enjoying it. Lost Mine of Phandelver is the D&D 5th edition starter set, and I'm having a lot of fun DMing with these guys, and I think it's gonna be a lot of fun to see where this leads.
It's been good.
All right,
You
so
know, aside from
Thanks for organizing it.
Thanks for teaching me too.
Falling and almost dying. It was fun.
There's always next session, Sean. You'll get them next session. Yeah, with that, I think we will bid adieu. Once again, my name is Jordan, Tabletop Dads. Make sure you go ahead and you subscribe to that YouTube channel, so we'll have a lot of great content coming towards you. And head over to that Facebook page if you are a Tabletop Dad, and go ahead and join that. So with that, I think we'll bid you a good sign off.